about that though. I'm just gonna send out a tweet to my audience.
I'll unmute on mine then. Okay.
Okay, yeah. I was seeing in the live chat last night, and I was seeing also we were all seeing in the comments, you're getting a lot of hate even from this video, and I'm really sorry for that.
Oh no, it's dude. I unironically, this has been one of my most like abused times on the internet, and I do politics, so that's saying a lot. There were people that were writing things about killing my kid, about calling child protective services, about getting like there were so many people coming after me over the Pokemon game stuff. It was crazy.
I know it's a literal like children's game. Like you wouldn't think people would take it that serious.
Well, not even a children's game. It was like a children's game being played by a chaotic chat room. Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, the people that got so butthurt over trying to release Bird Jesus. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say anything because I don't really want the hate. But I was telling Jack, I was like, if I knew about Twitch Plays Pokemon at the time, I'd probably be trying to help, release Bird Jesus as well, because that just seemed funny.
Yeah, and also I think that like the narratives are cool. Like I think that it was cool that they were able to like come together. They brought their little Reddit community together. There might have been 4chan threads on this where everybody was like able to resist like some of the outside fuckery of like releasing shit. I wasn't the only one. I think I'm the easiest to hate because I was like a single central figure that was like trying to get people to kind of troll the event. But there were other like boards. I know that I'd seen threads on 4chan where people were trying to get like the run to get fucked up or to release things or to kill Pokemon and shit. But I thought it was kind of I thought it was kind of cool that like, hey, they managed to stop us. They all came together and they used their democracy powers to save Bird Jesus. I don't know. I thought it was an interesting narrative, but
yeah, I mean, it kind of goes to like, it makes me think about the democracy mode, because I was editing the video, so I ended up having to really immerse myself in it. But it seems like the whole idea of democracy mode went against the initial intention of the stream, because at that point it was being curated in a sense by the streamer himself, and it wasn't this just everyone playing at the same time.
Yeah, so it sucks because my ability to make arguments about this is going to be seen always as incredibly biased. Because obviously people are going to say, well, of course you like the chaos and blah, 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 or you like to troll or whatever. But I mean, I would argue that without external forces trying to throw the run, democracy mode completely and totally destroyed everything related to what was going on. Because like most of us know how to beat Pokemon. Like if we have democracy mode on, like it's literally just a matter of time until like chat votes. Like at that point it goes from like a very interesting like chaotic experiment to like just like an inevitability of like, oh, okay, well, how many hours or days until we beat the game? Because we know we're going to.
Yeah, exactly. Because then then you can coordinate everything, and then it becomes just like a very slow way of playing the game normally instead of and so it just made me think that it's like the experiment or the initial experiment failed, and that's why they had to institute democracy mode. But I think it would have been more.
I don't know if I'm in favor of saying the initial experiment failed. It seemed more like, was it just that ramp that they couldn't get past? I'm trying to remember. There was a place where they kept jumping
It was
down.
the room.
It was the Team Rocket hideout.
Yeah, the Team Rocket hideout. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it would have been impossible. It just might have taken some more time. But
well, because like the thing with the Rocket hideout is you have to like you have to be very specific with the exact tiles you step on to solve the puzzle. And like I don't know if they would have been able to do that. I mean, like I guess like a million monkeys on a million typewriters would write Shakespeare eventually, but
yeah, maybe, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, maybe democracy mode was required because the chaos was too much for some of the more precise puzzles. But
I think too, as a matter of scale, like they were able to do more earlier on because hardly anybody was playing, and then as things were ramping up and they were getting like tens of thousands of players in a single day, it's just it is going to be chaos. It's not 30 or 50 people playing anymore. It's just a bunch of random idiots on the internet just typing in whatever.
Yeah,
I think it's one of these things where even though everybody like complained about what you did, at the end of the day, if people like you didn't do things like that with those experiments, like it would make the experiment void almost.
Yeah, you're just slowly beating the game. Who cares? Right.
Yeah. But then again, here's the other interesting thing. Since I released the video, all these people from the Twitch Plays Pokemon community, all 100 of them that are still around, they all despise the video. and
Really?
they claimed that like you had nothing to do with Bloody Sunday, and they were like, oh, you were just posing back in the day, and that you really weren't involved in that. So that was an interesting angle.
It's fuck. Which one? What was Bloody Sunday? I don't even remember. Was that?
That was the one where you went. What you did?
Oh, where we tried to release Bird Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I would say we were pretty involved in that. I mean, we were all watching it on stream. I'm pretty sure the videos are out there if you want to see it. Yeah. Yeah, in some ways, I understand why people like. In some ways, I kind of become like an internet boogeyman for some communities, where people start to blame all sorts of random stuff on me, and then so people push back on that, and then sometimes people say that I wasn't involved in things that I was involved in. So yeah, I don't know. It's just the games of telephone that we play on the internet get pretty crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. My chat's saying that there's an echo. Can you guys still hear an echo from my side?
I don't hear an echo.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This is
really I don't hear an echo.
Fuck.
They may
Back
be
a little bit
screwing
from
with me,
my
but I don't know.
Okay, people are saying no more echo.
Fixed.
Yeah. I'm also reading.
It's all good now.
All right, cool. Okay, good.
But I fixed it. Yeah, the thing is with the other thing that a lot of the people were critical of in the Twitch Plays Pokemon community is that in the video, I'm not sure if you saw the entire thing or just your part, but they were upset because in the center of it, I talk about the controversy surrounding the creator of the stream, known as the streamer, because he's this mythic figure that no one's ever seen before, and no one really knows who he is, and just to break up the monotony of talking about them going from gym to gym, I put that story in the middle, even though that happened later on. Because of that, did OBS really stop working? Anyway, because I put it in the middle of the video just to kind of spruce things up, they were like raging out at me because they thought I was like misleading people. But at the end of the day, that order of events really didn't change the story in and of itself. It was just mixing things up. So you don't always have to tell things chronologically, but I guess that's one of the issues you get into when you try to tell a story to a general audience, and then people that are super invested in it then go and give their thoughts because they're going to have a completely different perspective.
Yeah, and people will also nitpick the fuck out of you as well. A lot of times people have a lot of trouble with perspective. I noticed this. I think I have a pretty good ability to communicate like complicated stories or ideas to people. But I'll notice sometimes that when I'm communicating something, more hardcore people in my chat, for instance, will be like, wait, Destiny, what about that or that or that? Like, don't you have to talk? And it's like, well, I don't think the general person knows about this. We don't have to go into this detail. Like, it's okay to kind of like broadly paint sometimes. You know, you're not doing like a 6-hour documentary describing every single nuanced part. As long as you get the general story okay, I think it's fine. That being said, I saw I didn't have time to watch it, unfortunately. My life has been very hectic over the past week, but I was going through a lot of the early comments, and I thought I saw several in there that said even though this event was incredibly complicated, you did a really good job at capturing the gist of it. Like the early comments seem to be pretty positive in regards to you making a video and chronologing everything. I haven't seen like what the most liked comments are now, but that was my gist when seeing it in the beginning.
Yeah, the people that like weren't really in the know were fine with the video. They liked it. It was funny looking at like there's like after the red playthrough, the community of Twitch Plays Pokemon players like slowly dwindled down to only a few hundred, and those few hundred that are left over, their perception of the world and this event seems to be different. Like they were mad at me because I didn't talk about anything that happened after the Pokemon Red playthrough, like what they're doing nowadays. Like I went on the stream now and they're like playing Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney on the stream, and they're like, "Why aren't you talking about this?" And I'm like, "Why would I talk about any of the stuff
cares?
Right now?" There's like 100 people watching. Like if you could tell me some interesting angle, I'd be willing to cover it. Like I covered the chef versus the streamer fight that happened in 2017 in the video, but like the idea that I'm just going to cover your live stream nowadays where nothing of note's really happening. I just find it humorous.
Sure.
It's crazy stuff. But how have you been doing, Destiny? I haven't really been caught up to date with the current drama you're in with Twitch taking away your partnership status. Where's that at right now?
It's gone and passed. So now I duo stream to Twitch and YouTube, and I'm working on that. I've been doing that for 3 days now, so that's the next step of my life adventure.
Oh, nice.
So like, have you been able to talk to anyone at Twitch about it?
You know, I'm just not the most popular person at Twitch. Let's say that.
I mean,
I can see in our own live chat, people are coming in here saying, "Get Hassan or Vosh instead."
That's probably my audience trolling. Those are two other guys that do like politics, and we're like pretty opposed politically. So yeah, they're just dumb trolls. So.
Yeah, I figured.
It's one of these things where like Twitch wants to be so sanitized, but the best content comes when you're pushing the boundaries a bit. And like it just seems like they don't want that at all. They just keep on restricting and restricting and restricting to the point where they just want like, you know, Fortnite ninja style streamers. Like that seems to be what they're looking for on the service.
Well, I mean, you've been on YouTube now for what? It's been like 10 plus years, right?
Yeah, I started in 2009.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching your video. It was really interesting. I think when you were just starting, how you were getting into editing and you found like your little niche. I remember that first big video that you did that was so successful, and it was really interesting to watch, just because of how much everything has changed on YouTube. But go ahead.
The Lavender Town theory, was that it?
That was the first video you made, but I think you made a video about the making of that video and like your initial descent into YouTube, or descent or ascent, I guess, depending on how you look at it, into YouTube stuff.
So yesterday was actually the anniversary of that video. Every day on October 11th, I release a video about Pokemon in like commemoration for my first like breakthrough video. So that's like my yearly Pokemon thing. I'll probably do something about Pokemon Go next year.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's been a long road, and I've seen a lot of censorship on YouTube as well. Though I feel that Twitch is a lot worse.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, everybody, it's really a grass is greener. Just like people on Twitch, you know, complain about getting banned for a whole bunch of random stuff. People on YouTube complain about the adpocalypse and DMCAs. Yeah, I mean, just there's a lot of stuff. I think, and anytime you have like a for-profit system and you've got like really good ways of targeting customers, you're always going to find that something will grow on more like pushing the boundaries content. So Twitch did, YouTube did. But then as you become larger and larger and you're looking for more fans, you try to water it down as much as possible to make it appealing to as many people as possible. And then you kind of lose that edge in favor of more commercially safe stuff, I think. That's just like the trend towards all art today in society. Like, for instance, like films tend to be remakes or sequels or superhero movies. Like whatever is the most commercially safe option is usually what you're going to go with, and you want to avoid as much conflict as possible.
Tell me about it.
But what gets me is it's like a double standard almost, because if a YouTuber goes and makes fun of someone, oh, that's no good. But like you go and you see Stephen Colbert every night come out and like make crass jokes about Donald Trump that are just as bad as anything like somebody like Leafy here has made. Like you go and that's perfectly fine because, you know, he's a late night show comedian, so that's allowed. You know, rappers go out there and they like have abhorrent songs about murdering people and how they're going to beat people up and all this other stuff. That's allowed on YouTube. That gets on the trending page. It gets on Vivo channels and all that stuff. That stuff is all fine. But when a YouTuber pushes the limits to the same extent as like these mainstream sources, that's it seems to be this double standard that to this very day I still don't understand how people don't recognize their hypocrisy there.
Yeah, I mean, it's once you start looking at it from like basically websites will favor whatever's the most commercially safe material, then everything becomes like pretty quick and easy. So like certain types of like things are more safe corporately in terms of like, are people going to punish you online for believing in a certain thing? And then you just kind of have to adhere to whatever that national or international dialogue is, and you're pretty much good to go. And I think that's like the guiding decision. You know, businesses will make up rules about like, oh, well, we don't like this speech or that speech or blah, blah, blah. But in reality, at the end of the day, they're just, what are they trying to avoid getting canceled over? What are they trying to avoid people having an uproar over? And then what like makes the most amount of people the happiest? Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes people get canceled, but then like you know, a good example is Eminem. Like 20 years ago, people were freaking out about him, wanting him banned. Eminem's still doing the same stuff that he was doing 20 years ago, but people just kind of got used to it. Same thing with South Park. It's like sometimes things just become like establishment almost, and people just kind of get used to it.
I'm not as familiar with South Park. Eminem though is definitely, just as somebody that I'm way more familiar with, Eminem is definitely way more commercially friendly than he used to be. Like, but Eminem,
the old music is still, you're allowed to play it. That's kind of what I mean.
Man, are you?
That old Eminem, and that music's considered classic rap now.
I guess it would depend on what community you're in.
Like 500 list has those
sure.
albums on it.
I'm sure they're on lists, but in terms of like playing music, I feel like people would look at you sideways if you played some of the older Eminem songs. And then like, because you got to consider old Eminem songs is literally rapping about like drug addictions and like his fucked up family and like just horrible shit. And then, but like new Eminem stuff are literally like pop songs that are played on the radio about like breakups and love and shit. I feel like if I were to go into a community and I were to play like some old, like something out like the Marshall Mathers LP, and because he drops a lot of F-bombs, not the
like
fuck
Kim
one.
Or something.
Or like the one where he's just killing his wife. Yeah, I feel like people would look at you like, wait, hold on. Yeah, people forget that. Yeah, Kim is a whole song about him literally just killing his wife and rapping both parts about him murdering his wife. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like people would look at that a little bit strange these days. Yeah.
Yeah, but my point more is I go on YouTube and I search up Kim, or I go on Spotify and I search the song Kim. That's there. Probably ads on it. Like no one cares about that. But like on Spotify, they're going after Joe Rogan, all the employees there. They want to like censor his episodes and stuff. They're upset about that when you have like this old back catalog of Eminem music with, you know, the most insane lyrics ever. No one even questions that. I just don't understand. Is it just because if it's more recent. they feel the need to censor that? I guess because it's more in the
I don't know. Honestly, some of it probably just comes down to luck. You know, you're saying this now, but it might be that in 2 weeks, somebody's like, well, hold on, Eminem rapped about these two things. And then people are trying to cancel Eminem. It could happen. Because we've seen it where people will go back like 10 years and then find a thing. And then they're like, you know, hey, hold on. You know, like who was the, is it Kevin Hart? I think that they tried to cancel over saying he didn't want his son to be gay. Like, I don't know how many years ago that was. James Gunn got kicked off Guardians of the Galaxy 2 because of like tweets that everybody knew about like 10 years ago. So yeah, I don't know. It's possible that like the crowd, the wind changes and in a few days people are like, hold on, all of Eminem's old stuff needs to be removed from the internet. So
yeah, and honestly, I've seen a lot of people like turn against South Park in the past year or so as well. So I guess yeah, nothing really is off limits.
It happened with 30 Rock too recently. They just took down a whole bunch of episodes that characters were in blackface for like one scene, and they took down the whole episode for it.
Oh, they did it with Community, with the D&D episode, remember?
Yeah, and it's like that was. I mean,
it's pretty. Like, this is pretty silly.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and defend and say like I want the blackface back because that's funny, but like, it's
those
like,
were ironic uses of it too.
Yeah.
That's what gets me about those uses is that was during the Black Lives Matter protests right after the one guy was killed, and everybody's like, we want you know, we want to reform police departments so, you know, black people aren't being killed anymore, and that nobody really reformed anything, but like they just gave episodes. They got rid of Aunt Jemima.
You're not allowed to see these episodes of TV anymore. That fixed the problem.
Yeah, one thing that really bothers me that you bring up too is that like it really doesn't matter how it's used either. It doesn't matter if it's like an ironic use of blackface, like making fun of like the fact that it even is enough to just go full like balls to the wall, like this is racist and evil, and it's like, damn, I don't know, is it really that one dimensional? Like, I feel like it's funny because of how like what becomes like the cultural norms versus what becomes the counterculture. So like being like very woke like 10 years ago, I think was like fairly counterculture in a lot of places, whereas now it's way more the mainstream. So it's funny when you think about people like George Carlin in the past. I would feel like George Carlin was a pretty woke counterculture guy, but I think like these days, I think George Carlin would get canceled like a million fucking times for the skits that he does. I don't think anybody would like him, but because of where he was in history, like people are like, oh yeah, George Carlin's awesome, anti-imperialism, anti-American, fucking awesome dude. But man, if George Carlin was alive today and was talking about like the N-word, I think people would cancel the fuck out of Carlin. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I agree.
Wonder, is there any like white stand-up comedians that are still saying the N-word now?
The closest I can think of is what was the guy that jerked off in the room? Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. Yeah, I think he's.
I don't know where he's standing on that now, but yeah, I know that he had a big skit about it.
The thing about Louis C.K. is, you know, he's always done super edgy comedy, but the second he got exposed and he tried to come back, then people started being super critical of his school shooting jokes and his racial jokes. He's been making the same exact style jokes his entire career, but now, since he was Me Too'd, now, like, every single time he has a show, a journalist comes in with a secret recording and then takes something out of context and posts it in an article to expose him. It's like,
my favorite is like people going back.
He's always been funny though.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, that's why if you're funny enough, you can usually survive those controversies. Like Dave Chappelle is a good example as well. I think it's really funny how people are digging through like every fucking line of like the 7 Harry Potter books, like trying to find like, well, hold on, like I think when J.K. Rowling was talking about this thing here, I think she was dog whistling for the Jews, and look at the name of this person, blah blah blah. Like Chong, is there any Asian person actually named that? Like I don't, and it's like all like white people just getting so fucking mad on Twitter. And it's like, oh my god, like leave Harry Potter alone. Okay, listen, shit on J.K. Rowling all you want, leave Harry Potter out of this, all right? Like calm the fuck down.
People's obsession with like grown adults' obsession with Harry Potter, I honestly will never be able to get.
Hey,
yeah.
Calm down there, all right? Listen, Harry Potter was a magical part of a lot of our lives, all right? If you're 30, or if you're like 28 to 32, listen, Harry Potter was a magical part of your life, all right?
I grew up reading it. It's just that I don't care about it as much anymore now that I'm 26, and it's just like I haven't thought about it since I was a kid. It was a great thing to read as a kid and have a lot of fun reading it. But it's kind of like these people who are 28 to 32 that still hold it as like a core part of their identity.
That's really weird. Thankfully, I don't know anybody like that. They're probably on the internet somewhere, but I don't have any friends like that. That would be pretty strange, though. Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest thing with the Harry Potter stuff is when like people give, I don't know, the school that they're in, like isn't there like the different factions or something? And then they identify their entire lives based off of like a fictional.
It's like, oh, I'm a total Ravenclaw.
Oh well, hey, there you go. I found your next video topic. You can go right about those people.
It was his Harry Potter video that really had the Secret Service investigating B.G. Cumby.
What?
Wait, what?
You
5 people understand that reference.
Yeah. So my friend, my friend was the guy who faked that he was an Antifa member, and he got onto Fox News, Jesse Waters.
Okay.
And so after that, one of his friend's dads recognized him and reported him to the Secret Service to be investigated. So somebody at the Secret Service had to watch all of his videos. And if you know anything about his videos, he's kind of like, he's a parody. He plays a character, but he had one video where he said he was making fun of people who have Harry Potter as their core identity. And he said he wanted to go to Hogwarts so he could learn Avada Kedavra and kill Donald Trump.
Oh, nice.
And so then at the end of the video, he has like the lightning scar on his forehead, and he says he wants to be double the wizard that Harry is, so he put another lightning next to it.
Mm-hmm. Oh god! The Hitler shit or the white power shit.
So the Secret Service didn't care about that. They said, "You were threatening to assassinate a president." When they were talking to him, and he goes, I was like making a joke about a magical curse. Like, how are you going to take that seriously? But they grilled him for hours about that, that joke.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
The FBI does not mess around with like online trolling and stuff. I know 2 YouTubers. I don't know if like these stories are public, but the one tweeted out something along the lines of, "I am God, I'm going to kill you all," or something. I don't know. He was goofing around. And 2 FBI agents came to his house to interview him to see if he was a school shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other guy, he was just making a bunch of memes about like photoshopping himself into like Columbine massacre pictures as like a troll on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And he was at work, and his parents like said, "You have to come home right now." And he comes home, and like the local police, the state police, and the FBI were all at his house. They all raided his room and like dug through everything, because apparently he like checked off every single box on their list of things for potential school shooters. They thought he was like high risk in their algorithm, so they just like went in there and like tore through everything.
Nice.
So
I don't want to
careful because you're being watched.
I don't want to say his name, but was that a fellow editor that I know?
Yes.
Okay.
He was a fellow editor. Sizable channel too.
Yeah, pretty big YouTube channel. I remember when that happened.
I don't even know, like he wasn't doing anything like that crazy. He never like said, "I'm going to shoot up a school" or anything. All he did was post him. He had one Photoshop picture of him with the Columbine kids,
and he said, he said death to all women except my girlfriend or something like that.
It's just some stupid tweet, and like they straight up they had like 20 agents at his house. Like,
I think the problem, if to be sympathetic towards the FBI's point of view, I wish I could remember which shooter it was, but it looks really, really bad if the FBI gets a tip from somebody and then they go out and shoot some shit up and you didn't check. Like,
that was Parkland, I think.
Yeah, it might have been the Parkland show. Yeah, because one thing that you have to realize is that when you're trying to explain stuff that you did sarcastically to somebody that's stone cold repeating it, those are the most awkward conversations of your life. Dude, I had a writer from Kotaku that wanted to write a story about like some shit in the past or whatever, who was like trying to ask me for clarifications on things I've been involved in, and hearing people repeat back your own jokes to you from like 8 years ago is like some traumatizing shit. Like she's like reading off and she's like, okay, so when you were playing the StarCraft game in 2012, I noticed that you told this person to, you said slit his wrists. What did you mean when you say down the highway, not across the street? And and trying to like explain this is like, okay, well, it's a joke in the game or whatever. And she's like, yeah, but afterwards you DM'd him and you said that you were going to go to his house and kill him and his family. So was that all a joke? And I'm like, well, okay, yeah, it sounds bad when you read it that way, but it's like, yeah, like, so I imagine like the FBI showing up at your house, like, so you have pictures of kids with Columbine, so you want to kill all people. Like, it probably feels like pretty awkward. And then to take it the next step further, if the media is out and they said this guy went and shot up, like 12 schools, blah, 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 and then they show videos of like this guy saying like, yeah, I want to kill everybody except for my girlfriend, then everybody's going to look at the FBI and be like, dude, it was so obvious. What the fuck is wrong with you, So I'm sure that they have like a lot of pressure to like deal with like the sarcasm / parody, but also like try to be responsible and not like skip out on tips and everything. Like, yeah.
No, I totally see that. Like, like you would rather take as many precautions as possible and not have kids die.
Yeah, probably.
Have kids die and be like, oh well, we
knew
knew
it was just joking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't the Parkland guy? Wasn't like he obsessed with like Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff? Like,
and he was watching Rusty Cage the night before.
Yeah,
I remember
Rusty Cage has been involved in some crazy events.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Wait, you guys are YouTubers. This is so not related to any of this. I just have a question. I went down a YouTube hole last night where you go through the recommended videos, and I was just awake in bed, and I was like, fuck it. And I stumbled across this channel about torturing flies. Have you ever heard of this channel called like Torture the Fly?
Wait, I'm gonna look this up.
I don't know that one.
It is so weird. I can't actually put it into words. Like, all of these videos have like over 100,000 views, and they're like these cartoons animated, and I feel like it's all this weird like sexual fetish. Like, so one thing is like lock a fly in a jar and have a woman like fart into it like every minute, and it's done in like a cartoon, and it's like, it is really fucking weird. Yeah, and this channel had like dozens of videos, I think, and it was like the weirdest fucking shit I'd ever seen in my entire life. I'm sorry, I was just curious if this like, yes.
Oh yeah, Off Planet Film.
Yes, yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was like so fucking weird.
And you got through the recommended?
Yeah, it was like I started to click through, like I was going through like movie shit, and then somehow I ended up on like, it was like Torture Fly like video, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I click it, and there's like this whole YouTube channel. I didn't know there's like a well-known like underground YouTube thing, because oh my god. And every single comment on all of these videos was like, yeah, I like it when you torture that fly, like it deserves to suffer, flies deserve to die. And I'm like, what the fuck? And there's like a whole like section of YouTube where, because then once you're in that part, now all the recommended videos are like, there's like videos of like this guy that like drowning a wasp, drowning a fly, and when you look at the comment section, these people are like sociopathic. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Okay, anyway, Twitch Plays Pokemon. Holy shit!
I just put a picture of it in the group chat here.
I was gonna say that kind of reminds me of the sub.
Yes, yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, and there's a farting girl one, dude. That video is so fucking weird.
Oh, and there's a Mike Pence one too. How topical.
Of course there was.
Jesus Christ.
That person came back from like not uploading it forever just to make a video on Mike Pence.
The worst ones are the monkey haters.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
they hate.
Mention.
They
an hour once telling me about monkey torture videos.
Yeah. I got obsessed with the monkey haters. So they have like their own little community on YouTube where they have their own lingo. So they call monkeys tree rats.
What the fuck?
So there's an entire economy of like poor guys, and just like since in Cambodia, like, you know, the cost of living is really low. It's like there's a lot of poverty there. Like, even if they make a couple dollars off YouTube, that's like enough to sustain them. So then, like, they just record monkeys all day long at like a temple, and then they upload them onto YouTube. So after a while, these guys that were just filming monkeys and putting them on YouTube for the AdSense money, they realized whenever a monkey got hurt, it would get a lot of views, and all these people would encourage them to like film more videos of monkeys getting hurt. So they realized, like, hey, we can't actually hurt the monkeys, or we can't hurt the monkeys ourselves, or it'll get taken down from YouTube. But if the monkeys hurt each other, that's okay. So what they started doing is they realized that there's a hierarchy of the monkey tribes where the top tier monkeys get to eat before like the baby monkeys. So what they do is they purposely feed the baby monkey first, and the monkey's sitting there, the baby monkey's sitting there eating like, I don't know, a banana or something. And then because the baby monkey's eating out of order, the big monkey would come and just beat the living crap and sometimes kill the baby monkey while they film it. Jesus. And like all the comments are like, yeah, that tree rat got what it deserved.
Yeah, this sounds like the insect thing. Holy shit, that's so fucking weird.
Yeah, how do you get off on like...
I think most animals, but the monkey one's like the most notorious, I think, because there's an entire economy of these people in Cambodia and like a few other countries with monkeys that just film them, and they realize if they film them getting hurt, they get more views. What else? They call them VOs, the people that record the monkeys, and then they call the people that like try to shut down the channels of the monkeys getting hurt. They call them the menopause mafia, of like, because the other group that watches these monkey videos are like middle-aged women that just like watching the monkey tribes, and they name the monkeys, and like they watch like the monkeys have babies and stuff, and they're like, oh, the monkey's so cute today, and they're like fighting against the monkey haters that just want to see the monkeys get hurt. So it's like this full like fight in between like these two communities of monkey lovers and monkey haters for like what kind of content should be allowed.
It's always crazy when you like dive into like those communities and you just read it for like 30 minutes and you realize there's like so much more here than you ever thought there should be.
Yeah, crazy.
That's absolutely fucking insane.
I wanted to make a video about it, but like I feel that the showing the monkeys getting hurt would be too off-putting, so I just never made a video like digging into it a bit deeper. But like there's like multiple like subgenres to it. So like people get pet monkeys and they're always orphans. So like the person would get a pet monkey, it's always an orphan, even though they probably just killed the parent and stole the baby monkey off it so they could film some videos where they put this baby monkey in a little dress and they dance around. But then they realize, like, I guess one of them, a monkey would get stuck somewhere, and that video would get a lot more views because the monkey was in distress. So then all the videos on this channel were like, monkey gets caught between two logs, and like you could clearly tell that the guy that was filming put the monkey's leg in between two logs, put it on top of the monkey's leg so it couldn't escape, and then he just sit there and film the monkey crying for like 10 minutes, and then eventually take the monkey out. And it just, monkey gets caught in a river, monkey gets caught here, monkey gets caught here, and it's just like over and over again. And there's an audience of a couple 100,000 people probably that are watching these monkey hate videos, and all of them, if you watch them long enough, like they'll watch like PETA videos where they'll show like, look at these monkeys being abused in a laboratory, and all the comments are just like, I want a job, where's this laboratory at? And if there's multiple types of animals being abused, like monkeys and like dogs and rats, they'll say they'll give out the time codes to one another for when the monkeys are getting hurt, because they don't actually like watching any other animals get hurt. They only care about monkeys. So it's this bizarre world that I've thought about making a video about it, but I don't know. I'd probably get the video. The video would probably get taken down by YouTube.
Or it's just like, this is super dark. People are linking me, like, this guy called Rusty Cage did a video called The Truth About Electric Mousetrap Videos. And it's just, this guy's just watching. There's like 4 jars full of water that like rats or mice are getting like trapped in and like drowned. What the?
That's a good video. That's a good video that he made.
Wait, the mouse one or the video about the mouse?
No, the video about the mouse.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about that. Like, I guess there's a whole economy, just like the whole monkey thing, of people that make these rat trap videos, but all it is torture devices. It's not like, you know, it's not like you're putting the normal rat trap with cheese on the ground or something like that. It was like they're taking like pet rats basically, and they're funneling them into these different traps to get them to drown or to get them to be shocked or electrocuted or something like that. Like it's completely nasty.
Did you guys ever follow the weird child videos that were made on YouTube for a while?
Oh, I made a video about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I might have watched your video on it actually. I wish I could remember whose it was, but like, yeah, with the with what? Elsagate. Yeah. The and even stuff unreal. Like I think you covered almost everything, right? Where you'd run into these videos that if you were a parent and you just like glanced at the iPad, it looks fine. It looks like a normal kid's thing. But like if you sit there and watch it, it's just really, really fucking weird.
Yeah, and actually, around that time, I was I work in a clinic with kids, and I would see kids watching that, and their parents just completely unknowing. But you know, I knew about what was going on, and I'd always tell the parent, like, "Do you know what your kid's watching right now?" They'd be like, "Oh, it's just Frozen." And I'm like, no, it's not.
It looks like it on a glance, but like, but if you actually sit and watch the whole video, like, this is very fucking eerie. Like, holy shit, yeah. The Elsa, like, pregnant ones and everything. Oh my god, there were so many weird fucking videos.
Needles and shit and stuff.
Yeah, to this very day, I still don't understand what a lot of that was about because, you know, some of them were just like, so there was like the Elsa and Spider-Man videos where you'd have like just some random guys that want to make a quick buck. They did a couple superhero costumes, and then they'd make these like little skit videos. And sometimes they'd get like a little sexually inappropriate, but you could kind of tell that they were just like goofing around. Like they were making these videos for kids, but they thought it was funny if they included some sexual innuendos because they're just some idiot 20-some-year-old trying to make
or like Shrek.
buck.
Like there's a lot of like movies that do that. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but then there were some where it seemed like they went out of their way to try to like program kids' minds at a young age to like certain like weird fetishes and stuff. I remember like there was like, you know, scat fetish stuff in those videos where it was just like they were animations. So somebody sat there and animated like, you know, like a Disney character eating poop or something like that, and it was
just some Ukrainian
really
guy
depraved.
posting all this stuff.
Yeah, and it's like there was no reason for them to do that. Like they didn't get more views doing it that way. So, and those videos stayed up for years. Like I remember YouTubers were calling it out for a good 2 years until finally, like the mainstream media picked up the story, and then that's when they stepped in and actually did something about it.
Yeah, because unless that pressure's there, they're just making money off the ads. Jesus Christ. Yes. Somebody just linked this video in my chat, drowning baby monkey, but no help because mom is just far away. What the fuck?
There's so many of them. There's another subgenre where yeah, they get tons of views. So like imagine you're some guy in Cambodia, you're just trying to make a couple bucks to scrape by, you're filming monkeys. Then one day a monkey gets attacked by another monkey and it gets ripped to shreds, and you post that online. You're used to getting $10 per video, and then you get $1,500 per video. And
depending on what country you're in, this is like 6 months worth of pay. Yeah.
So if you watch those videos long enough, you'll like see Cambodian camera guys just all standing around with their DSLR cameras recording these monkeys, and it's just like it's like its own ecosystem. Sometimes they stage like kidnappings where like a monkey will get kidnapped by a random guy and they won't show his face, but like one of the VOs is like, it's clearly one of the VOs just like stuffing a baby monkey into its backpack and then driving off. And then like a day later they find the monkey like in a bag in the middle of the woods, and like they rescue it. And it's like they come up with story arcs and they actually like think people are falling for it.
It's fucked up because this is like a real life, like, have you ever seen the show Nathan For You?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, remember they have an episode where they literally fake this, where there's like an alligator that saves like a chicken or some, I don't remember, some random
shit. Like a dog, a pig.
Yeah, pig, yeah, save some shit, yeah. And it sounds like a Nathan For You skit, except these guys are actually doing it. Holy shit.
But there's, at least that one looked realistic. This was blatantly like false. So there's like channels, monkey haters, that they'll take the VO's footage from Cambodia on their channel, and they'll just cut out the best bits of like the monkeys getting hurt, and they'll do like highlight reels of the week, kind of like how people do with like DSP Gaming or Wings of Redemption, where they'll show the best bits. These guys will do it for monkey hate videos. and the one guy they showed like, oh, look at this guy, he's apparently a kidnapper of monkeys. But then they skip forward a couple of videos, and then they see the guy with the same exact backpack filming the monkeys, like they were debunking like their storylines.
I mean, the whole monkey thing sounds like a really like twisted version of Nathan For You. Like if he showed up and these Cambodians were just filming monkeys and they needed something to make them big, and Nathan would say, well, why, have you thought about animal abuse? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does. It sounds like a Nathan For You skit. Yeah. Here's the plan. If we capture 12 hours of footage a day and we only show the segments where the animals are getting hurt, maybe we can drive a sociopathic audience to purchase merchandise. Like, it sounds like a Nathan For You skit, 1,000,000%. Something that I'm really curious for you guys that do like this long form content. Have you ever had a video that was like nearing completion, or some part of a project you put a ton of work on, and then somebody that you were working with like contacted you and said, actually, I don't want any of this to go out, or I don't want this content to be talked about? How do you resolve those types of conflicts? If you feel like there's something that should be in a video that you want to report on, but somebody else doesn't want it out.
Yikes, should I even bring up this
one,
one,
Jack?
You don't have to give like examples. I'm just like curious, like what values do you use to resolve that? Like, is it reporting the truth above all else, or maintaining sources and respecting privacy, or...
So, like, I've been learning as I go, because I've been making videos for 10 years, but I've tried to, like, get a little bit more in-depth with my investigative reporting recently. And I'm not sure. Do you know anything about the Basherverse situation?
I feel like I've heard of it, but no. Can you give me a quick refresher?
So
if it's
even
possible,
hard to give a quick refresher, because it's this insane story that happened in 2015, 2016 of this guy named Basher who was accused of doing all these crimes, a lot of them involving underage girls, and then Keemstar reporting on it, and his reporting being questionable at times, and then there was all these other people, and there was accusations of like all this stuff. People had mental breakdowns, one thing after another. It was so screwed up that Onision came out and said this is toxic back in the day. Like, I think that's a good indicator of, you went too far. But anyway, I released the first part, and I end it with part 2 coming soon. And I was sitting there, and part 1 was basically me doing a comprehensive look. It took 90 minutes, and there was nothing I could have cut out of that. 90 minutes of just telling this entire insane story. And part 2 is going to be where I actually tell the truth. I piece together everything. I talk to all 9 people that were involved in this drama, and I was going to come out with like what actually went down back in the day and what the truth was. And for a lot of reasons, including people like trying to hustle me behind the scenes, people trying to manipulate me, people kind of freaking out that I'm going to reveal stuff, I started just getting all of this backlash, and people saying, oh, I want to renege what I said. And since I couldn't quite finish the puzzle, there was like one puzzle piece to this mystery that I didn't quite understand yet, because I wasn't able to interview a particular individual involved in the case. I had to just kind of step back from the project for the time being until that person comes forward. I'm being a little bit vague because I don't want to talk. I don't want to give any specifics, but there is a individual involved in the case that I would say for a lot of it is the true victim of all this. She was abused, and there was things that aren't even known publicly of what she had to go through. And when she wants to give her side of the story, I could make my part 2 of that. But for the time being, it's currently shelved. But yeah, the Basherverse guy, it's crazy. Like when I released the video, him and his manager seemed to be pretty happy with it. But then after that, like, he just started like blaming me for all his problems, and he started like threatening to sue me behind the scenes and stuff. And I've just ignored it because I showed the video to a lawyer, and the lawyer said there's absolutely nothing slanderous, or there's no defamation in this video. You're completely in the clear. So I'm not too worried about him actually coming after me legally, but I do want to make sure, especially when I'm the one revealing new information, that I have the most accurate portrayal of the events possible.
Have you ever had somebody reach back and ask you to remove something you'd already posted? Have you guys ever had to do that before?
Oh, well, I mean, Basher sent like, saying you better take down this video or I'm going to sue you. And I just ignored it because, unless you actually get a lawyer and you're suing me, that's not a thing. But there has been a few times where, especially back in the day, I had a series called What Happened where, I mean, like I still have the series, but it's changed over time. Back a couple years ago, I basically went and took a YouTuber that was popular in around like 2009, 2010, 2011, and they were still making videos, but no one was watching them anymore. And I basically just tore it apart of like, this is who they are. They're not popular anymore. I'm going to explain exactly why. And I go through their numbers. I go through their analytics. I show like why people aren't clicking on the new videos, why they're not relevant. And a couple of the times people reached out to me behind the scenes and very passive aggressively always were trying to get me to take them down. And only on one occasion did I ever do it. And that was more because the guy was actually nice and he had good reason for it. And I made an exception that time because I wanted to. But yeah,
hopefully you're not making a video like that about me soon. But okay.
No, I'm not making it. Well,
yeah, okay, calm down. No,
the only time I've ever talked about you was your fight with Jontron. I think that's the only time you've ever been discussed in my videos up until this point.
Yeah, and I actually used a clip from your Jontron debate when we're talking about you in the Pokemon video.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did that like it's still baffling to this very day that Jontron agreed to go on and do the debate with you. Like my assessment of all that, I don't know if I didn't really go into this portion of my thoughts in my video on the subject, but I kind of have the feeling that John was like talking to Sargon of Akkad a lot. He was on 4chan all the time, and like he was just like, he fell into that group of people, and he thought like, my thoughts are just like they're the right ones. And when he got onto that stream with you, he realized, oh, wait a minute, like I have been ignoring the other side of this argument.
That's generally when I saw him, because the only reason he was even on my radar was because I'd heard people were linking public convos that he was having with like Sargon of Akkad and a couple other people, and I was like, holy shit, and they're like talking about all this crazy shit. I thought that he was going to come onto my stream. I didn't think it was going to be that spicy. I thought he was going to come on and we were going to talk through some stuff, and he's like, no, I don't really hate immigrants, or I don't blah, 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 like, I'm just saying this or that, and then it'd kind of be like one of those convos. But then he started just saying really weird shit, like, like, well, as long as they're, like, genetically assimilated and the DNA is converged or whatever. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Holy shit, Jontron, no. Yeah,
the best person who, like, the person who summed it up the best, I think, was Mr. Mediker, who said he was having a red pill Tourette's.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Gee, that's a good way to put it, maybe, yeah.
Man, that was
another random thing I'm curious. So obviously you cover a very diverse like subject matter when it comes to like videos you do. How do you decide what you want to make your next video on?
So sometimes I know it's going to get views, and other times, like this one in particular, like Twitch Plays Pokemon, I just wanted to do something, Pokemon related. I thought it was an interesting story. There's like 2 other videos about it on YouTube, but I didn't think that they were that good. I'm not good at let me not trash the other guys, but like I thought I could do better. So I said, like, I'm gonna put some money aside to hire a team to help me make this. So it kind of comes down to, sometimes I make it because it'll get views, and other times I make it because it's a passion project, and sometimes it's a combination of those two. I'm always hoping I'll get views on videos, but it's always a gamble, and sometimes you just have to take risks.
Sure.
And I work with art typically on his passion projects, I think. Was Basher a passion project, or was that one for views?
Yeah, that was a passion project. Yeah. The thing about Basher was that story was huge back in the day, and like no other YouTuber was willing to touch it because it was like there's so much information. Me and Jack had to go through every single Drama Alert episode back in the day.
Yeah, I watched.
Make a comprehensive timeline. How long was the timeline of all events by the end of it?
It was
the outline that I wrote. It was like
10 pages.
Yeah, the outline alone was at least 10 pages.
Yeah, so the outline we just did on this day this happened, on this day this happened, like short little set tidbits, and that was 10 pages long of all the dates, and we like just pieced it together. And we realized quickly that's why no other YouTuber even tried making a video about it, because it was so much work, and there was so many allegations out there that you couldn't make that video unless you were super careful and you did your research, which I feel we did.
Yeah. And it was so crazy too. Like it wasn't just like it wasn't just like your typical sort of like humdrum drama. Like this person is mad at this person for some stupid reason. It was real sort of insane shit. And Basher really was having a meltdown. And I think that the thing I'm proudest of in that video. Well, for one, when you hired me as the editor, I had no idea who Basher even was, and it took you guys like 4 or 5 hours to like explain the story. But
yeah, you dove head first into that thing. I remember.
Yeah, I ended up doing a lot of research on my own, and one of my crowning achievements was helping to find the video where he tases his nutsack.
Oh yeah, that took us so long to find that video. How did we?
No, I think the Camp Kill commentary guy.
Yeah, that was Mr. Sif who gave us that video.
So the Basherverse guy, Destiny, he deleted every video off his channel. So like we had to go through like archives and like random websites.
Destiny is still here.
For like Daily Motion or something. Like we just had to piece together like everything because it was all wiped off the internet. I actually went down to Florida to a convention to interview Keemstar in person for it. It was just like, man, it's a crazy tale. Out of all my videos, that's the one I'm the most proud of.
Damn.
I'm hoping that we do more like in-person sort of documentary stuff.
We can't do it just right now, but hopefully someday.
In the States, I mean, you can drive around as long as you're wearing your mask and doing all that.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's not ideal or recommended, but you can technically.
Yeah. So do you guys, at any point in time, do you have like several concepts that you're kind of working on or tossing around behind the scenes, or yeah?
Oh yeah, I have footage of an interview I did like pre-COVID that still has not come out yet, just because I've been busy with these other projects. But it's one of these things where
that's one you're looking for a writer for, right?
Yeah. So maybe I'll talk to Jack about doing it, but yeah, it's one of these things where I have my smaller videos that are like 10 minutes long. That those ones pay the bills, and then for these longer videos, these are just more passion projects. A lot of the time, they'll get demonetized on YouTube, and I actually lose money on them. But in the long run, like people that watch them, they really enjoy it, and it helps in the algorithm, because if they watch an hour-long documentary on my channel, YouTube then goes and recommends all my other videos to them. So like I don't make money directly off them, but in the long run, I feel that I come out ahead.
Have you ever thought about I'm sure you've considered all these a million times. So have you ever thought about starting a Patreon for like the long form videos, or do you have a Patreon for that type of material? Or
I don't need the money. Like I make enough money like as is, where I could kind of reinvest it in the bigger Lost Leader projects.
Oh, okay.
Like
I didn't know if like finances were like a reason not to pursue that, but if that's not a big deal, then yeah, gotcha.
Well, I mean, so I do sponsor messages on my channel to make my money. So like I feel like I guess I could do a Patreon, but I know a lot of people that get into the Patreon game. If you're successful at it, you really have to spend a lot of your time, engaging with those patrons. And
nah, fuck that. I know what you're saying, but like I would literally like make a Patreon. There's 2 tiers. If you support me in the lower one, you like me. If you support me in the bigger one, you really like me, but you don't get shit for it. And just see how many people would support the lower. That was what I would do. I know what you mean though. So when I look at some of those Patreons, and that shit looks like multiple employee full-time jobs, where it's like the highest tier is like, oh, like once a week I'll give you a phone call, and I'll mail you a custom postcard, and I'll put you 6 Discord messages a week, and you'll be invited to the special Discord where we'll play Among Us. And it's like, holy shit, like how do you deliver this to so many fucking people? Oh my god. Yeah
They usually have like those perks for like 10 people where they like do personal conversations. I actually like the idea of the YouTube sponsorships, but the thing is like I'd like to do the YouTube sponsorship thing, but if I was going to actually ask my subscribers for like money for like a more premium, like the emotes or whatever, I have trouble then getting that money through YouTube as well, because I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, because any day now YouTube could just delete my account. And it's good if you have I guess Patreon's good because you have a secondary source of income that's not tied to the channel.
Yeah.
I think
I have a Patreon, but I don't really do much on it. I just think early access for videos, pretty much.
Yeah, I think I would. I'm cool with the whole Patreon thing. The one thing I see a lot of times YouTubers do is like for $100 they'll like take video requests. Like people can pay you $100, they'll make a video about whatever you want. Like that sounds, my heart would not be in it if someone's paying me $100. Like, can you make a video about this movie? It's like, I don't care about this thing.
Yeah,
I mean, I get that enough in my comments. You know, like half the people want me to cover some film or whatever, and I'm like, I already have like the next 4 months scheduled. Like, I'm not taking any requests. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would feel guilty about that.
Destiny, I know you mentioned before that you're now streaming on both Twitch and YouTube. Isn't there a rule on Twitch that you can't do that?
Yep, if you're a partnered or affiliate.
But you're not either of those things now.
No, because they revoked it. That was the whole drama. So
gotcha.
Yeah. I might triple stream to Facebook soon too. Maybe we'll see. I'll see how this double streaming thing goes. But yeah, fuck it.
Well, the interesting thing about Facebook is they have very deep pockets.
Yeah, some of the deals, not just Facebook, all of those side streaming deals are so lucrative. The Mixer ones were. Caffeine writes some really lucrative deals. Facebook does. And the nice thing about a lot of these platforms, I'm not going to say for every contract, but at least for the ones that I've seen, they're usually non-exclusive. Usually they just want they'll usually want some 80 hours a month of exclusive content on their site, but past that 8 hours, they don't give a fuck what you do, which is super awesome. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's weird. No one does that for YouTubers. Like, I've never been approached by another competitor to YouTube to post some exclusive videos here. Long term.
I mean, the reason why streaming has taken off so much, especially for money, is because it's the ultimate form of incredibly low effort, easy to produce content that maximizes the fuck out of viewer hours. You know, how much time you probably put. Collectively between all of you, I'm sure there was over 100 man hours that went into the Twitch Plays Pokemon
Hundreds
documentary.
of hours, yeah.
Yeah. But I could sit here and just stream for that time, and at the end of the day, you're only going to have 90 minutes of really high quality content, but it's only 90 minutes, whereas on a stream, for very little effort, you can just shit out so many more hours of watch hours for viewers. That I think that's why the contracts everybody wants to get into the streaming shit, because it's just so much more time, so many more eyes on the screen for so much longer.
But you have somebody like Tim Pool that spams out 5 videos a day on YouTube.
Yeah, but some of these people are David Pacman is another example. This isn't this is low effort content basically, streaming is. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, because Tim Pool, he records essentially he streams and then he just sort of cuts that up and puts it on this YouTube.
Yeah, or TheQuartering is another guy that does that type of content. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just talking to TheQuartering yesterday about how much Tim Pool makes, and it's crazy. If you check out Tim Pool's stats, he gets combined on all his channels, he gets 100 million views a month.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
that dude's making millions a year currently.
Easily, yeah.
And no wonder Reactor was mad that Tim went behind his back and remade the LLC that wasn't his name.
Destiny, did you ever hear about that drama with the brother?
With Chris, Tim's brother.
I feel like I read about this at one point, but I don't remember offhand. Every YouTuber has. I mean, you guys must know this, right? Every YouTuber has some dramatic story, at least one. So I can't keep up with them all. But what happened exactly?
So Chris, his brother, has another channel, Reactor. But Chris helped Tim a lot. So to get Tim well known, because what Chris would do with Tim in his early days was essentially bot Reddit. Well, not exactly bot it, but he had 50 different accounts that he would use to upvote Tim's content, downvote other content, whatever, get it to the front page. Back when you could get away with it, but Reactor was so Chris and Tim both owned the LLC, the company that was, whatever their thing is called. Timcast or something like that. Anyways, Tim gets his girlfriend involved or something like that. I could be getting the events wrong, but what happened was that Tim and his girlfriend went to another state and refiled the LLC, but without Chris in it, even though Chris was the founder of that LLC. So he doesn't get any of the money or really anything from, he's been just cast out of the whole thing. So that was the whole drama, is that Chris was coming out and saying it. But the problem with it is that Reactor is a troll YouTuber. You know, like he did a lot of stuff with Monkey Jones, like, and most of his stuff is like just memeing. And so people didn't think he was actually being serious, like the whole time. It was getting him really pissed off. Because he was super, super angry at Tim when that happened. But I mean, I would be too, you know, and yeah, everyone thought he was just joking. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, it's just kind of slimy on Tim's part, I think. Yeah, he showed me all the papers too. Like, it's legit, you know. But it was just slimy.
Yeah, Tim Pool, he works so much. Like, because wasn't his argument that like Reactor wasn't like doing enough work?
It was something like that. When he actually decided to even respond to anything, he was kind of ignoring Chris for a while.
Yeah, it's man, Tim Pool, he just works so much on those videos, like to the point where it's like, what's his end game with it? Because he just every single video he reads headlines. He reads headlines. He's like fighting with his brother. Like, I don't know the full story with the brother thing, but it kind of sounds like he got in this squabble with his brother, and like he's making enough money where he could appease his brother if he wanted to, but he doesn't. Every single video is about like the civil war's coming, showing some LARPing Antifa members as like evidence that like there's gonna be a civil war in this country. I don't think it's sustainable.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, I think it's like you have a lot of these. I was talking about this with Tabor, you know, from Vsauce 2 and Great Unknown last night. We actually just had this discussion because we're talking about no bullshit, or, you know, Brooks Heatherly.
Oh God.
It sucks.
My most painful conversations have been with him. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah. And we were saying, we were talking about how a lot of these like political YouTubers, you know, that really get people riled up, at the end of the day, they don't really know that much about what they're talking about. And like in 2016 or 2015, when you first get big and you're sort of like, you're doing the whole like reading the headlines, this is wrong, this is bad, but they don't get any deeper than that. It's just not sustainable. And after a couple of years, you just, even after less than that, I mean, No Bullshit does not get views on his videos anymore. He gets, I mean, he's almost as big as TheQuartering, and he gets 6,000 views. Not that TheQuartering does any better, to be honest.
But his channel, he's getting around 6,000 views a video. I remember only like a year ago, he was getting 80,000 views a video. So his viewership has dropped off by.
Yeah, he's lost 40,000 subs this year.
90%. Jeez.
One question.
Was there any specific?
Something specific happened? I don't know. One question I'm so curious about this guy. Do you think any of this channel was ever botted? Because his socials were so unbelievably small, and he used them somewhat frequently. Like, I think he had over 500,000 subs, and his Twitter was like struggling to get like 3,000 followers. If like,
I think a problem he faced with his Twitter is he goes by Brooks Heatherly. He doesn't brand his Twitter, even though like anyone who knows that it's no bullshit. But it might be difficult for a passive watcher who might have a Twitter to know that it's him, or to actively seek him out, because it was under Brooks Heatherly and not with any of his like logo or whatever. I can look up his thing, but it's a picture of him on his Twitter. If he doesn't.
Yeah, no, yeah, we used to fight a lot. Yeah, it's interesting that his material. TheQuartering is still doing good, right?
Oh man, TheQuartering's doing amazing. He's like mini Tim Pool almost. Like,
oh yeah, he's
like,
doing.
Let me look up TheQuartering Social Blade right now.
Yeah, like 20 million a month.
I was just I was really ecstatic when TheQuartering reported on one of my friends a few weeks ago. Journalist
18
Katie.
million views a month.
Interesting.
She made this post you might have seen about. I think it was about gamers that like. It was like what gamers have to do if like they want to, or like what video game developers have to do if they want to move forward. I would pull it up now, but her account got suspended the other day. So unfortunately.
Wait, it's suspended for what?
I don't know. There wasn't anything there wasn't anything too spicy on it. There wasn't anything too bad, but I don't want to say anything, but basically she got found out and unfortunately taken down.
She got found out? Was she like ban evading? Or are we not allowed to?
No, not ban evading. I don't want to get into it because
Dude?
No, it's nothing bad. It's like it's nothing like terrible or anything. But it was kind of bullshit on Twitter's part because her account was hilarious. Yeah.
One of my favorite
one
of my favorite things about the Quartering channel, dude, this guy fucking hates Brie Larson so much.
He's self-aware about it though.
Yeah, he said he got $100,000 for hating on Brie Larson.
No, it's got to be more than that, dude. This guy's got like over 100, maybe over 200 videos on his channel about like Brie Larson. It's like insane. Oh my god,
dude, he bought a fucking plane last year.
But
like,
what?
He owns a plane.
Oh wait, like a Cessna or something? Not like a.
Yeah, like a smaller plane, but he had to what, drive it or take it all the way up to Wisconsin where he lives. It was like on the other side of the US. Yeah, I mean the guy is obviously loaded. He's got his own little arcade in his basement. I was the man-child moment where he was like, "This is how I'm going to spend COVID." And he was like showing his arcade. Okay. But yeah, he makes a ton of money. I mean, because his views, like if you think about how many views he's getting per day, you can look at like one individual thing and he might be getting like 100,000 views on one individual video, but he comes out with like 5 a day.
He's like the Tim Pool or David Pakman thing, right? Where it's just, you basically sit in front of a camera and talk for a little bit, low effort. There's lots of videos, lots of engagement.
Yeah. He's basically the Quartering. I would say like Tim Pool is more mainstream with his coverage of like Antifa rallies and stuff. The Quartering is basically doing the same thing as Tim Pool, except focusing more on like gaming and nerd culture and because I think his start was with Magic the Gathering and like playing those events, and then he got kicked out.
I remember those days.
I guess the people that are in charge of Magic the Gathering are absolutely insane. And they kicked him out. Then he got a bunch of like support from, I'm guessing like the Gamergate style people. Yeah. And then he's just capitalized off it. Like, man, he's really good at what he does. Like he just blitz out the videos. He has his thumbnail game down to a science. Like looking at it now, he has over 100 videos about Brie Larson.
Yeah,
he's kind of like Mundane Matt, but actually popular.
Well, I talked to Mundane Matt at VidCon last year about that. I'm like, man, Tim Pool and the Quartering, they basically like took what you did and like they just went with it. And he's like, yeah, I know.
That was funny. I remember you were sitting you talked to him for a bit.
I was so excited when I saw Mundane Matt show up.
I know you were.
That was right after Bouldergate too.
Yeah, that was. And I remember you were sitting next to him and I was walking by you and you're like, Peter, meet Mundane Matt. He's right here.
I was so excited to meet Mundane Matt.
But I was such an asshole to him because as I was shaking his hand, Matt says to me, he goes, "Have you heard of me?" And I was just like, "Yep." And I walked away. Like I walked away from him.
Yeah, I mean, people give him too hard of a time. Like, he's suffered enough for his sins.
Yeah,
I love Mundane Matt.
That conversation he had with Boogie the other day.
Man!
Oh my God, Destiny, did you hear that conversation?
Which conversation?
So Boogie went on to Matt's stream, the Boulder Cast.
Oh, is this the one where he's arguing about the guy that's talking about going to his house or whatever?
So Frank went to his house. Now the thing about, if anyone knows Frank never gets physical with people at all. And like a lot of people thought it was fake because they had like this kill stream thing, right? Where they're really going at each other. And Frank makes a joke in the kill stream that he's going to come to Arkansas and he's going to harass Boogie in a grocery store.
Yeah. And then Boogie's like, if you show up, I'm going to fucking shoot you.
Yeah, exactly. And so then they go on to so then Frank posts that he's in Fayetteville and he was visiting a friend in Fayetteville, which happens to be the same city where Boogie lives. And then Boogie has a total freak out. They both go on trauma alert. And then Boogie's like taunting him, basically like challenging him to come. And so he shows up, and then Boogie shoots a warning shot, except Boogie's house is right next to a middle school. So that's technically illegal. And I mean, I thought it was funny. Personally, I watched Frank's video. I thought it was funny. But a lot of people, including myself, I was even texting Frank, and I was texting some of the people involved. And I know that Art, you were texting Boogie. Like, we thought it was fake. Like, we're like, there's no way. Like, this has to be a stunt. You know, like sometimes when shit like this happens, it just seems like one of those like edgy comedy collabs, which Boogie is not. Boogie has done. You know, and so. But anyways, I mean, Art, you asked Boogie if it was fake, and then Boogie was just like, I swear in my life it was real.
We listened to Boogie on a huge fight with another YouTuber guy that said it was fake, and he went on and got so mad at him. We listened to that for like 30 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. That's the one where Matt says...
That was Monday Matt, right?
Was it fake? And then Boogie was like, do you rape babies? Do you molest your children? I was listening. It was just surreal. And he was like, you shouldn't be asking these questions. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I mean, that's so, I don't know, this is stupid. Like, you shouldn't be asking these questions after he faked getting swatted earlier this year. Mm-hmm. You know, like the same guy. I mean, I don't personally have much sympathy for Boogie. I think he's a weirdo.
Yeah. I mean, I think both of them were pretty fucking stupid in that scenario, though. Like, if you show up to a dude's house like that, like, clearly looking for trouble, like, you're dumb as fuck. But Boogie also, like, especially if you own a gun, why the fuck would you be goading a guy into coming to your house?
It wasn't even his gun. It was his friend's gun.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless, it's so dumb to even... And then to just fucking shoot a shot into the fucking air like that? Like, how fucking stupid do you have to be? Oh, my God.
Should have kept the door locked.
Yeah, and call the police. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Easy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really easy situation to take care of, because once the police sirens were heard, Frank left, and then that was that. I actually don't think anything legal is really going to come of it, because it's just like...
it has to. You can't discharge a firearm in city limits. It's illegal.
So what I understand from that regard currently is that the local police in Arkansas, they want to talk to Frank Hassel about the situation and get his side of things, but Frank left the state immediately after, and unless they want to go through the hassle of like getting in touch with like the local California police where he lives, they may just kind of ignore it if there's not enough backlash about it.
That sounds really strange to me, because like this isn't a matter of like Frank pressing charges. It's just, or at least every state I'm familiar with, I'm a gun owner, so I know a little bit about gun laws. You can't discharge a firearm in city limits without like a good reason, unless you're like a ranger or something. Like if I was in my house and if I was in my house and I just fired my gun at my wall, like I can get fined for that. That could be like a misdemeanor. Like you can't handle firearms that way. So when there's video footage of Boogie just shooting in a fucking neighborhood, like that's crazy to me. Like
next to a middle school.
Yeah, I mean, even if it wasn't, even if it was just in a normal neighborhood, yeah, the school makes it worse. But, like, you can't just go outside and shoot your fucking firearm and not have some type of like the city like push charges against you. Like, that's just you can't do that. Like, that's so weird.
Yeah, I think that
it kind of. Oh, you go first.
I think that if it's within a school zone, it actually can become a felony. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it depends on the state, I believe.
Yeah,
none of us are lawyers though, so I really don't know what the deal is with it. All I can imagine is that, like, I think he's hoping that it's just going to like subside and no one's going to do anything about it because Frank's not around anymore. Mm-hmm. The police don't quite understand the situation. If there's no community outcry about it, I think it's pretty common for just for things to slide sometimes, right? Because they only can take so many cases, right?
I mean, yeah, but this is a pretty shut and dry. This isn't like they have to go to trial and like get witnesses and a jury and all that. Like it's just.
Well, he claims self-defense, so it's.
But Frank didn't have any weapons on him, and
they don't. The police don't know that. They haven't talked to him.
Yeah,
think about that. There was an altercation between two people. A shot was fired. Mm-hmm. No one was actually injured. No one was hurt by it. Mm-hmm. And no one wants to press charges. And then the one person is just gone, and you don't know where he's at. And you're gonna have to like go and like search him and get him down and like work with other police departments to try to bring him in for questioning about the situation. Like maybe these police have better things to do. You know what I mean? And it's just going to be pushed to the side and nothing's done about it.
Yeah,
I see that being a possibility.
Yeah, I guess it's possible, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. I just, my gut feeling says that we won't hear any more about it. Except it's like this weird internet drama thing that came to be real life. It could be a GamerFromMars video here in a year or two.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if anything else happened before making a video about it. You know, a lot of people, you know, despise Boogie. I'm not in that camp. I feel bad for him. Like, he's been through a lot in his life. And people that have been through a lot in their lives, sometimes they don't make the wisest decisions.
Yeah, true. I feel like Boogie's main problem, the thing that hurts his PR the most, though, is just that he victimizes himself so much that it makes it really easy for a lot of people to hate on him. Because he not only victimizes himself, but he does a lot of legitimately stupid, aggressive action. So it's like two sides of that is not good usually.
Yeah, it's getting caught in a cycle. This happens all the time with, you know, if you go on Kiwi farms, they're referred to as lol cows. Go elsewhere, it's just, you know, tea spilling drama. But I see it so much of, you know, they're like, oh, look at these trolls. They're harassing me so much. They're bothering me every single day. But it's a what came first, the chicken or the egg sort of scenario where if you didn't engage with the trolls and you didn't give them new material, the trolls would just find someone else to bother. And then but the trolls keep on bothering you, so you feel you need to respond. It ends up being this vicious cycle where the two groups are fighting. And the truth is, if you fight with trolls, you never win.
Yeah, because they have no accountability. If you win against a troll, they just disappear. You don't get anything for it.
He was fighting against subreddit. Not a person, not a group, a subreddit of anonymous people that didn't like him.
Yeah.
And he was like making exposed videos about a subreddit. And I just sat there watching it, and I'm like, even if you have a point, what are you going to accomplish from this?
Yeah. I remember, do you have like Kiwi Farms threads?
About myself?
Yeah.
I don't have any about myself, but they liked my Bashiverse video and they source me quite a bit. I'm on their good side, I guess.
Nice, that's
from the times that they have talked about me.
So I have a varied history. I have a long history in everything related to the internet. I've been on streaming for almost 11 years now, so I have my own thread about me. And it's funny because on Kiwi Farms, there's like a 50-50 chance that it's either very true or incredibly fucking fake. And I remember that my thread, I read all sorts of hilarious fucking stories of me. And I always see like where I know why you're saying this. I know what threads you're drawing on, but this is just so not true. And I remember that I made an account. I think this was a year or two ago because I wanted to go and like kind of like counter troll the Kiwi Farms. So I made an account and I went on and I would like ask. I did this like 10 times. But I basically say like, what's like a serious problem that you guys have with me? Like, can you guys talk to me or whatever? And somebody would write out like this 5-paragraph reply, and I would respond like, "LOL, you're retarded." I would say some dumb shit like that, and people in these threads started to get legitimately so fucking mad that I was getting like DMs from these people where I had somebody DM me like this 17-paragraph fucking write-up about how horrible a person I am, and I responded like, "LOL, nice job," or like TLDR, and then like the black guy with the chicken like dancing or whatever, and it got to the point to where so not only did I get banned from Kiwi Farms, they started to ban other people from Kiwi Farms, and then they started to make threads in another board where they were saying like we need to have rules so that people like the lol cows aren't allowed to post in their own threads because it makes every thread devolve into a shit show. And then they got into a huge fight on that thread over whether or not you can respond to people that come and post on their threads. I thought that shit was really funny. I don't know, people that post incessantly on like Kiwi Farms and like pretty ugly little liars, I think those people have fucking problems, dude. That's some crazy shit.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, because they are obsessive over these cows. Like who honestly is sadder, the lol cow or this random person that's become obsessed with somebody they don't even know?
I think like, so personally, I think that DSP and fucking Wings of Redemption, I think these people they do some funny shit. I'll laugh at DSP or Wings because I think they're doing some funny shit and the dumb shit a lot too. But the people that are like obsessive anti-fans, I think are very mentally unwell. Like, dude, DSP has like his own dedicated fucking hater base, the Sons of Kojima or whatever, like his own dedicated anti-fan. And then Wings too, also have some of like, and this might be unpopular. That Onision guy seems like really creepy as well, like everything he's done. But his anti-fans too. Like the only reason I know who Onision is because I always read people on Twitter that talk about how much they hate Onision, and it's like, what the fuck? I don't know.
Yeah. No, and that was a funny that was a whole thing because that's pretty much why all that anti-Onision stuff crumbled in on itself is that its anti-fans were so psychotic that like everyone who was against Onision then was like, we don't want to be with these people anymore, and they kind of just like left, and it was just these weirdos, and then Chris Hansen that was left.
Yeah.
Didn't get anything done, and they just would come up with all these like almost like fan fiction tier fantasies about the guy. It was so weird. It was so strange. Yeah, and
there was insane accusations against Onision. Like this one of his ex-girlfriends said like Onision caught her smoking weed, so she had to choose between two punishments, and the two punishments were either she would get a tattoo that said she was a whore, or she would be chained up in the basement for a week. Like two like bizarre like scenarios where because she was caught smoking some marijuana, and like everybody just automatically believed it was true. Like no one even questioned it because they hated Onision so much. They're like, "Oh, can you believe he did this?" And I'm like, you know, there's no proof of this. It's such an insane story. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm gonna need a little bit more evidence.
Yeah, one of the most annoying things is when like there's like a genuinely despicable, horrible person, but like people are making up all these stories about him. It's like, guys, this is a really bad person. Like, we don't have to make anything up. Like, just focus on what happened. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Yeah,
kind of muddies the waters a little bit in that regard.
Exactly.
Because, like,
yeah,
you don't know what is or isn't true anymore.
Exactly. And then it cast out on everything. And now this person that should be like pretty condemnable is like people are like, well, hold on, people made up this shit about him. And it's like, yeah, but that might not be real. But this is real, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, and then it becomes like either or, and a lot of this stuff is he said, she said, you know, like there's stuff that's not quite. And the people who are saying like, oh, but you see in this video, he's being mean to this person or something like that. But you also have to look at it from, you know, an era of skepticism that, well, he uploaded this video or they uploaded this video or whatever. And how do you know that what a YouTuber uploads is their real self? Like plenty of people act as characters on YouTube, you know, and plenty of shit that looks, I mean, just look at McJuggernuggets, you know, his whole thing was psycho dad and blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, all, like the weird abusive, psychotic family or whatever. And it was all fake, you know, it was all.
The majority of the Onision rants too were specifically because he was making so much money off of them in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I made a video about this actually because no one really was quite picking up on what Onision was doing, but essentially he created a cottage industry of people that just were trying to expose Onision, and then he'd make mental breakdown videos on his channel, and then he'd have people cover it, and then once they covered it, he'd copyright claim all their videos and collect the ad revenue for himself. So he was pulling in thousands upon thousands of dollars each month during the height of the drama, just from people covering it and him claiming the clips. So he'd purposely give them new material to work with. So they'd make videos about it. Then he'd claim their videos and collect all that money for himself. It was actually pretty genius.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
And then once it dried up, all these people moved on to like DeV Vanity and a couple other people. I kind of feel like it spawned the tea spilling community.
Yeah, it's always just been so stupid because it's been people who are not journalists, are not investigators, LARPing as them and thinking that, oh, look, I'm better than any investigative journalist. I'm better than any police. Because the thing with Onision is that so many people called the police about him, and the police just didn't give a fuck about the guy.
Unless you have some hard evidence or like a real tip, like they're not gonna.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like they're saying he said this thing online or look at this video or something like that. And the police are just like, who gives a shit, you know? Yeah. And I guess looked into him, but there really wasn't anything to pin on him. And they just were tired of people constantly calling about him. But there's all these, you know, I mean, honestly, I think a lot of them are kids. Maybe I'm just optimistic, and maybe a lot of these guys are adults. But there's a lot of people on, especially like Twitter and YouTube, and they just see themselves as being the internet police, and they know that this guy is guilty, and you know, and they're gonna dig everything up and they're gonna expose him. But like, not many times has any of this actually resulted in a person going to prison. I can't even think of once where it resulted in a person actually going to prison. I could be wrong though. I'm not too familiar with.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I think a lot of times it actually makes the evidence bad. Like they fuck up a lot of stuff.
I believe that's what happened with the Onision thing. Don't quote me on this, but I think Chris Hansen got a hold of some evidence against Onision, and since he got a hold of it before the police, it was tainted and it couldn't be used against him anymore.
Yeah, and he held on to it. Was a laptop, and he held on to it for like 6 months.
So it was tampered evidence at that point, so they couldn't do anything with it.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you can thank Chris. If Onision really is a guy that belongs in prison, you can thank Chris for him not being in prison, I guess.
Well, isn't like Discovery Channel making a like documentary about Onision now with Chris Hansen?
Yeah, he sold the rights. Yeah, I mean, grifter as he is, right? He sold the rights, but then it was coming. Then it was really weird because I don't know if everyone gave their consent to be in it. You know, all the people that he had interviewed, or like I don't know what it is. I mean, his whole Onision investigation, if you can even call it that, was him live streaming with people, him calling up people on Skype, and then the one time where he goes to Onision's house and then rings his doorbell and Onision calls the police on him. Like, I don't just
it's interesting because like
Frank,
I think I brought this up to you before. Like with Boogie 2988, he should have actually taken a play out of the book of Onision. When somebody comes to your house to bother you, you call the police and stay inside. Like, imagine if Onision came out on Chris Hansen and then fired the gun.
Oh yeah, holy shit! He would have had a lot more videos to claim, right?
Yeah, he could have been a millionaire by now. Yeah, I mean that. I don't see why Discovery Channel but if I don't see how a Discovery show about that is how that's even going to be entertaining. I feel like it's so played out now. I guess maybe
I mean, that's the problem with Hollywood is that they try to buy some internet stuff like that, and by the time it's produced, it's already old news. Like, hasn't there been a Five Nights at Freddy's movie in development for 5 years now?
So you guys want to talk about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie?
Let's talk about the Five Nights.
I can talk about it.
Before getting into that, real quick though, on that note, there was supposed to be a really good documentary that was made though about internet shit. It was supposed to be the one about the Pepe the Frog. Have you guys ever?
Oh yeah, I've heard good things about that.
That's supposed to be really sick.
Yeah, I heard that it was good. Eggy is in it. And he said very good things about it. He said it was fun because I guess the director flew Eggy out to, was it Colorado or wherever the director lived? The other documentary I heard wasn't good. Another internet documentary that came out this year I heard was not.
Oh, about the incels and the neats.
The Feel When No GF. I heard that wasn't good.
That's such a cringy title.
Yeah, and I wasn't interested in that. But I heard Feels Good Man. That played at the New York Film Fest. I believe it played in New York. But all this stuff was virtual this year, which is actually really fun. I was able to watch some of the films for once. But yeah, no, I heard that's really good.
I actually got a few super chats. Can I just read off a couple quickly? Yeah, sure. Black Koi Records says, "Ask Destiny about Ethan Ralph, please." We already kind of talked about that earlier. Queen Bee says, "Love the new Pokemon video. I've been watching since the beginning. It's so good to see you doing gaming videos again." And 10 tabs open says, "Talk about Chris Hansen's Hacker Anonymous gene." I'm not even sure who that is.
Yeah, that's a deep rabbit hole. I don't want to talk about that. That's like cringe, boomer, boomer tier online trolling. Basically, it's just not even worth talking about.
This is just on that note. This is so unrelated. Do you remember a long time ago when Oprah got trolled into reading that fucking message on her show
about over 9,000 penises raping children?
Yeah. Oh man, dude, that must have been like a 10-year-old fucking thing. But yeah, holy shit.
If you listen closely to that clip, you hear one guy in the audience laugh when she says it.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Like one guy in the audience, knew the troll immediately. Those were in the glory days of 4chan when they were just trolling like crazy and everybody was falling for it.
Well, oh yeah. So I don't know if this is unpopular opinion or not. Back then, trolling was way funnier because so people.
It wasn't as political.
Well, yeah. The thing is that trolling it's supposed to be dumb shit, but you're all supposed it's dumb shit. You're holding a position that's clearly fucking ridiculous. But the problem with trolling these days is a lot of people will call it trolling, but it's actually their genuine beliefs. So it's wait, this isn't funny. It's not a joke. Yeah. You're just fucking crazy,
Or they I'm not going to name any names, or they actually fuck with like people's income, or they like actually fuck with people in a very serious way, and then they say, oh, they're just trolling, and it's like, no, that's not. That's just harassment. That's like there is a difference. Like trolling is when like you take extreme, like you don't believe stuff, but you'll go in and you'll be debating people, and you'll have like these extreme beliefs that just get the people just off their fucking rockers, so like mad at you. Like that was fun. Doing that was fun.
Yeah, something that, man, I don't know where you guys might have good relationships with this guy, so not to call anybody out or whatever, but like something that was so disappointing to me is like, and I still think like, I thought Sam Hyde stuff was like really funny, and I still do. I think that all of the comedy stuff that he's been involved in is like really funny. But man, when I found out that this guy is like unironically like a fucking alt-writer, it's like, no, what the fuck, Sam? And then it makes me look at all of his shit differently, and I'm like, fuck me, dude.
Yeah, he kind of went off on the alt-right thing, and
yeah, my audience was telling me like, oh yeah, like Sam Hyde is like alt-right. I was like, nah, dude, he's just like fucking trolling. And then I listened to this this conversation he's having with a journalist, and he's like calling this guy out as being like part of like the Jewish hegemony and shit, and he's not joking. And I'm like, oh god, no. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, like, but he was kind of like, I loved his series of what was it, the
on Adult Swim?
No, his Williamsburg fashion, where he's like interviewing the people in Williamsburg, New York.
Oh fuck, I've probably seen this, but I don't know anything about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and there's like there's like a couple. He's asking them about random stuff, and he starts asking about who pays their rent, and then like there's a couple there, and like he's asking the girl like, so how many guys did you fucking suck before you met this guy? And it was just like, it's hilarious. I loved his Williamsburg fashion. But yeah, no, his show World Peace was funny as shit. I loved his one with the where he was Trex and he was swagging out the cripple, who actually I found on Facebook. And this was kind of interesting, is he is a paraplegic dancer and he has a dance studio in Atlanta. I don't know how it works, but yeah, he's in a wheelchair and he dances.
Interesting.
Yeah. Some of my friends worked on that show since I'm not too far from Atlanta. And it's funny, my friend was in that dating sketch that was on the first episode, and he's been in a lot of stuff since. He's like, he's kind of a character actor out in Hollywood, and he almost only ever gets recognized for being in World Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are like, oh, you're the guy from World Peace. And he's been in a bunch of stuff since, but yeah. I like that show a lot, but yeah, Sam kind of fell off the deep end after that show got canceled.
Well, was it after it got canceled, or was that the reason it got canceled? I don't remember why.
No, it was after it got canceled.
Didn't it get canceled for some kind of political thing that he did or something? Or what was...
Well, so
it was
from what I understand, there was like some journalist or some person working there that made a huge fuss about it, and they started pointing out like all like the edgy jokes, because like weren't they hiding swastikas in the episodes and stuff like that?
But Sam's reasoning made a lot of sense. He was like, I'm working for, like, all the producers are Jewish. You know, it's like his bosses were Jewish. And he's like, this is my first season of making a television show ever, and I don't want to fuck it up. And he was saying, like, why the fuck would I hide swastikas in a show? If they were hiding it in the show, he's like it would get him fired.
Were they there?
I didn't notice them at all. I went back and I was looking for them. I couldn't find any.
Yeah, I never looked into it further. I just assumed that somebody was sneaking them into the episodes. Maybe it wasn't him. They were hidden, so maybe they were just really minor. But I mean, is that
Yeah,
well, there was only one other time that Adult Swim ever like shut something down like that before. It was like Teen Hunger Force or whatever, when they had like the bomb scare.
Wait, what happened with this?
You never heard about that? So, am I getting this right? The name of the show is Teen Hunger Force?
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force, yeah.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Yeah, so what happened...
The name doesn't make any sense. It's not supposed to, so don't feel bad about not understanding.
Yeah. Every single other Adult Swim show. So, during, I think, it was either promotion for the movie or one of the seasons, they got some, like, street artists to make these little boxes that lit up and had, like, one of the characters on it, but, like, they were really crude, so it had a little light-up cartoon at the front, but then it was just a bunch of wires and batteries and stuff in the back. And they put them up all over the city of Boston. And somebody reported one to the police, and they thought it was a bomb. And then like they located 10 of them around the city, and then they had to get like bomb units from all over the place to show up and come in to try to dismantle like these bombs and see what they were. And apparently Adult Swim had to like pay a ton of money to the city of Boston like for the cost of the bomb squads.
Damn.
So they made an episode goofing on it, but then Adult Swim refused to air it because I guess like the CEO of Cartoon Network was like irritated because he had to pay out.
Yeah, they don't give those shows any money to be made. You know, like all those shows are super low budget, so I bet they're pissed that
except for Rick and Morty.
Yeah, except for Rick and Morty. Although, you know, in my opinion, the best animated show to be on Adult Swim was Xavier Renegade Angel.
Wait, what the fuck is that?
Sure. You don't know about Xavier Renegade Angel?
Is this like an absurdist humor thing, or is this like a legit like?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't. I'm 31, so I stopped watching Adult Swim probably around like 2008, 2009.
That's when it would have come out, though. I think it was coming out in 2006, something. Yeah, something like that. So that would have been around your time, but the animation that looks like original or like PlayStation 2 graphics, but it was. I mean, it is. I've never seen a show like it. I don't even know how to describe it other than
sort of a satire on philosophy and that
yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah, and with a lot of very edgy humor in it as well.
It goes into like general social issue, like debates on like abortion, for example, or like the meaning of life, and just very general cosmic things like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's done. It's hilarious. Like it is kind of like not like more than a laugh a minute. I really love it. Mm-hmm. They have a whole thing on slavery in it, but they have a whole thing on slavery in it. But they're enslaving small tornadoes, and it's like a plantation, and so they call them wind N-words, and then of course they mix it up, and so they call them wiggers.
Slurs, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all done very quickly. But yeah, that was to me one of the peaks of Adult Swim. And that was in the time when they were coming out with all these like more experimental animated shows like that, and 12-Ounce Mouse, and you know they had Space Ghost Coast to Coast was I think my introduction to it.
Yeah, that was like that was like the world's introduction to like that type of comedy. Yeah. I remember watching Space Ghost as a kid when I was like younger, and it was just so confusing to me because I'd seen like the Space Ghost cartoon because I was like a kid and like we watched like stuff like that. But then like seeing him like in a talk show, I never knew if like is the people he's talking to real, or like is this real, or what the fuck is this show? I was always so confused watching it as a kid.
Yeah, I was too. I didn't understand it as a little kid. It was completely beyond my scope of what, you know, humor was at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, at that time I was like 6 years old, so it's not like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But
you think with all the money they're making from Rick and Morty, like they're gonna invest some of it into like new shows?
No, I think
they just canceled Venture Bros.
Yeah, they did. A lot of people were upset about that.
Show.
I think they're gonna give themselves bigger paychecks. If I'm gonna be honest,
yeah.
I think that's what's gonna happen. They're
getting crazy though. Like I would imagine that like Adult Swim's been around for what 20 years now. They probably started in like 2000.
Yeah, like late 90s ish, 2000. It was sometime around then.
So like all the content they've made up until this point, a single season of Rick and Morty is more valuable than every other program they've ever made combined.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Correct, Rick and Morty is probably, to be fair. And I might get heat from people in chat, but I'm pretty sure Rick and Morty is the first mainstream thing they've had. Like, I don't know if I would ever consider like Aqua Team Hunger Force or any of that. Even though they seem popular to us, I don't know if any of that was ever like mainstream. Not like Rick and Morty is.
No, it wasn't like, because you can go to Hot Topic and there's tons of Rick and Morty T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
like the entire store.
Yeah, that's like the entire store. When Aqua Teen Hunger Force was in its prime, you couldn't it's not like you were seeing T-shirts and whatever merchandise for it everywhere like you see for Rick and Morty. McDonald's was not bringing back Szechuan sauce, or whatever the fuck, they didn't have like this humongous fast food deal that Rick and Morty had. Even though it wasn't really a deal, it was more like they were playing into the joke that just kind of backfired.
Yeah.
But,
did you ever watch the pilot for Rick and Morty?
Yeah, and it's not funny.
Not whether or not you think it's funny, it was way more raunchy. Holy shit.
Yeah, because Morty like sucks him off.
Yeah, it's a lot more fucking raunchy than what they finally made onto Cartoon Network, which is interesting. I guess Harmon realized that like they're not probably going to make it very far with that type of
Yeah, and that was
Adult Swim. So, but like, if they kept it like that original, the original version of it, it would have just been another Adult Swim show.
I think, and I'm just misremembering, but I think it was far for even Adult Swim. I wouldn't have expected to see. It's really extreme.
About stuff.
And the reason I didn't find it funny is it does play into the joke of more like he's like, Morty, to do this, you gotta suck my balls.
Yeah.
But it's like every single time something has to happen, he does it. And it's going for that like Family Guy where it's like if they keep kind of beating the joke at you, like eventually it's funny. Yeah, but honestly, it just didn't for me because it's a little
too XD.
Yeah, exactly. And I can see why they changed it. I know that original one, that was more Justin Vernon's pure vision, and he was doing that as like a parody of Back to the Future, and that's initially I think what that was supposed to be, is Back to the Future, but there's like a homoerotic relationship, and not even that, it was more like a not even quite consensual because it was like a pedophilic homoerotic relationship, but just to sort of make fun of Back to the Future. But the show very much cleaned it up.
I got a few more super chats. Sorry, Bruno says, thank you for showing the Pokemon video. Learning about Twitch Plays Pokemon was super fun and was a tame change from most internet drama. Hugh says, what's your opinion on packing the courts? And Yasign says, GFM, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So thanks for the donations. I don't know, do you have any thoughts about packing the courts, since he did ask?
I think these are my fans. Troll asking questions, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, the comment sections, my stream chat is extremely cancerous right now. Most of the haters like kind of died off, but like at the beginning it was just everybody despised you.
Yeah. I have that effect on the internet. Yeah.
Everyone was telling us to get Vosh in instead of you.
Yeah.
Hey, he's welcome to come on too.
Bring Vosh in here.
Vosh is apparently going to debate Tim Pool soon in person.
Supposedly, I reached out on Twitter too, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what he ends up going with.
Oh, are you going to meet Tim Pool too?
Yeah, by the opportunity to, 100% I would.
That would be amazing. I'd love to talk to Tim Pool, but I don't think I'm popular enough. I'm not in the same world as him, I would say, with my videos.
It's hard, because he exploded a lot, so there's not many people that even are. I don't think I am at this point, no way. So yeah, we'll see who he ends up. Because
he said he'd talk to any liberal of note. Was that his wording?
Oh yeah, he put that thing on Twitter.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I responded to, and everybody else is responding to. Yeah. And then some people started responding to him, but he apparently they freaked out when he said it had to be in person. So, and then now now other people are reaching out to him. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure Vosh would do it in person, and I would do it in person as well. Yeah. So we'll see.
Where's Tim Pool? He's in New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. He is?
Yeah, I thought so.
I thought he was in LA. I guess he moved.
I thought it was in Jersey. I don't know. I know his brother's in Chicago, so that's all I know.
If he would have me, I'd drive out there and talk to him. It's it's one of these things. I think it makes sense if like he's gonna have an in-person show. Like it's going to, you're gonna take out the trolls if you make them have to show up and like fly out to speak with you, rather than just getting some random person on. Because I saw a lot of people were arguing with him because he's like, I'll talk to any liberal of note. Then a few people responded. Then he's like, oh, it's going to be in person. And like then they complained, oh no, you shouldn't. Like I should be able to talk to you like on my terms, like online. And it's like, he's not just making it up. I have seen that channel. He only talks to people in person on it. But,
I mean, I think,
I'd definitely be interested.
Yeah, I think anybody who debates him is definitely going to get a lot of good press as long as they don't make themselves look like a complete asshole.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wonder. Generally, people, once they hit Tim Pool's side, like, they just stop debating, because what's the point? They've got like nothing to gain and everything to lose if they have a bad performance. So
yeah. I mean, to me, it's not even about like, oh, you're gonna own him with facts and logics, or the other way around. It's just I find it interesting when, finally, after so much time of Tim Pool kind of refining his his talking points. Because like if you watch his videos, it's like the most repetitive thing ever. It's like the same thing every single day of just reporting on some random Antifa loser threw a brick into a window or like beat up somebody. And it's just like, okay, this is going to be the end of the world now.
Yeah, that's
I really like to see somebody go and challenge him on those set of like talking points that he's really refined over the past 8 months.
This is something that like my fan has been bothering me so long to try to debate him or whatever. But like one problem that I have with people like him is that like he doesn't really make any strong claims ever. So there's not really much to argue with him on. Like if somebody wants to have a debate on like, is socialized healthcare better than, private healthcare? Like, well, these are like actual strong claims that we can have a debate on. But all of Tim Pool's stuff is like, liberals are taking over society, and it's all this kind of like amorphous, wishy-washy, like there's not much there to really argue about because all of it's hard to prove and hard to claim and even harder to disprove. So it's like, I don't know, it feels like it's just a bunch of people like shouting at clouds sometimes when I listen to people like him or Dave Rubin like screaming at like the liberals and stuff.
It's definitely like emotionally driven too, which is probably why they're so big. It's kind of like that they're telling people what they want to hear to get their 5 minutes of anger, 5 minutes of hate for the day, and you know what I mean. Yeah. It's not so much like I don't know
debate
people
policy.
I don't know people who listen to Tim Pool who really are interested in like his deep political takes, because there really aren't any. A lot of it's very surface level stuff, and as you said, it is very wishy-washy. It's one day it's this, it's the other day it's that. You would have to debate him about a specific thing.
That's what I would want to do, but let's see what happens, I guess.
Because I don't see why he wouldn't talk to you if he's legitimately willing to talk to people. You and Vosh would probably be the two that would come to mind.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should. Oh, I guess it's in a studio, right? It's not like the boxing match, the Worski and Tonka boxing match.
Or Worski flew to the wrong fucking city or whatever.
No, Tonka didn't show up.
Oh, was it Tonka or Tonka? Wait, didn't Worski originally show up in the wrong city of the same? It was like the same named city in a different state.
Did he?
I feel like this happened, and then Tonka faked his name on like on the wrestling certificate and didn't get certified or something. There was so much dumb shit.
That was honestly one of the dumbest. It was entertaining though to follow, but it was so.
Oh yeah, both of those guys, dude, were.
That was the height of internet Bloodsports, right?
Yeah, that was where, it's kind of like when there's a TV show, and then there's a movie made, like say to take something from my childhood, right? Like you have SpongeBob. The first 3 seasons were great, and then they made the movie, and then everything after that just wasn't the same, and it ended up sucking. That's kind of like Bloodsports. It was like it was fun before that, and then it was the boxing match was like
the height.
The height of it, and then everything after that just sucked.
I think the problem was like it felt okay. I'm not jerking myself off too much, but I know that for a long time I fought a lot of these people, and I think that when we were all fighting each other, like everybody had like a pretty pointed goal, and it was, I think usually I was antagonistic towards people like JF and Tonka and Andy, and it felt like once I'd stepped out of that community, as soon as the infighting started, because they had nothing left to talk about, although Tonka always kind of infought, like things started to fall apart like really quickly, which got like pretty sad. Yeah, because like JF and like everybody just had these big falling outs over like really dumb shit. And
JF and Andy had that huge falling out. Tonka pretty much fell out with everyone.
Yeah.
And
and then your replacement today is just like Ethan Ralph, who drinks too much and he tries his best. Yeah.
Yeah, and just I mean, it was like I don't watch the kill stream anymore. I haven't since the boxing match. It was just felt like the natural end to it. But
that we didn't get. The end that we deserved.
Yeah, I know. It was a nothing. It was like a it was like a Seinfeld ending, or like just the Sopranos just cutting the black. Zonka just didn't show up, and although I think most people knew he wasn't going to show up, but at the same time, it was like everyone wanted him to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like everyone wanted to watch the fight, but it didn't happen. So. I mean, I guess the only thing of note that's happened on the kill stream since was the Frank Castle with Boogie, and then Ethan sending his sex tape to his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend on stream.
That girl's dad has been emailing me so much shit about stuff that he's all posted it publicly, nothing like private, but apparently the whole thing about like him, like Ethan Ralph, like abducting this like 18-year-old, not abducting, but convincing this 18-year-old girl to move across the country to like have a baby with him. You guys?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, holy shit.
She's pregnant. Yeah, she's pregnant now, right?
Yes. But yeah, so that's his life right now, I guess.
Yeah.
TheQuartering is in the chat now.
Oh, nice. TheQuartering chat. We were talking about you earlier.
Yeah, man, if you want to come on.
Where is he?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have him added on Discord, but I DM'd him on Twitter. I think he doesn't know what we're talking about because I've just had the TheQuartering YouTube channel sitting in the background for the past hour since we talked about him. So I think somebody was saying, "Hey, they're talking about you."
Oh, really? I haven't even been watching the stream. Oh yeah, I see you have the TheQuartering in the back. Yeah, I haven't even been watching it. The quarter pounder.
That's what we usually call him in my community.
Yeah, that's what we call him in my circles as well. I hope he doesn't hear this. He's hearing it.
My favorite TheQuartering moments. I don't know if he's still watching, but was the time he was like debating. I think it was Mr. Medicare and Keemstar, and Keemstar's hypothesis was that the TheQuartering was boring. And he's like, yeah, man, you talk just so slow. I have to speed you up by like double, like to even listen to you. And TheQuartering's like, is that how you feel, Keemstar? It's like, yeah, like right now I'm just so bored listening to you. This like went on for like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Oh man, that's another person I would actually love to meet.
Mr. Medicare?
No, it's Keemstar.
Oh, Keemstar.
Mr. Medicare. No, isn't Medicare like going through chemo right now?
Yeah, apparently it's cancer.
Yeah, he has cancer.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I know DSP is gonna outlive him.
Oh god, what a horrible thought. Why would you even say that? What the fuck? That's so fucked up.
Mr. Medicare would say that.
He has been saying it.
Yeah.
DSP Gaming was about to get kicked out of his house, then COVID started, which stopped the courts from processing the eviction.
No, and they actually said that he was fine. Like all of his, he was going to bankruptcy court and he didn't show up for it. But then they were like, okay, I don't know what the word for it is, but he's like in the clear now. He's
done with the bankruptcy stuff. Is my understanding.
Yeah, he's done with the bankruptcy stuff. He's completely in the clear. He didn't even show up to his own trial, from what I understand.
Well, I mean, if you get a lawyer, you don't have to. Fuck it.
Yeah, and so he's like totally in the clear, and Xbox the other day tweeted somebody had all these like lists of like.
Oh, I saw that.
That was so funny, but then I mean DSP took it pretty well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he tweeted and he was like, "Well, I've never blamed my stepbrother before," or something like.
Yeah, and DSP is just outliving like everyone who has said anything bad about him. Mm-hmm. And I mean, all he does is he just sits on his couch and he plays games terribly, and then yells at the camera.
Yeah, I guess I always thought the funniest stuff was like the real life related stuff with him is always what I think is so funny. I remember we followed him talking about his fucking car. And apparently he had this BMW for like 3 years and he never took it for maintenance a single time. And he's like, well, they never called me to schedule the oil change. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my goodness.
And he's talking about, dude, and it's so funny because he's talking and you know that he's saying things that sound good to him, but it was obvious that like a car salesman just told us. So he's like, it's a buyer's market right now for cars. And it's like, well, dude, what are you talking about? Oh my God, dude. That shit was so fucking funny.
he had like a cooking series, Cooking with DSP. And he had like a
we've watched so many of those. Yeah,
dumped it in the toilet. Oh my goodness, yeah, DSP is the greatest. I don't like the craziest thing about DSP is like there's people that unironically just watch him because they just enjoy watching his live streams and they're not trying to troll him. I'd always want to like talk to one of those people because like what do they think about all this? Because like they're just watching it because they think the guy's kind of entertaining. They're like they just see all of this harassment and it just I don't even know how that would even translate in their minds. Because he does have a lot of people that give him money just because they enjoy his thoughts on video games.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, if people are giving me money for like just playing video games and being a retard, I would love it. It's kind of like living the life, I guess.
Yeah, I made a lot of money doing that. I still make money doing that. So. Fuck it.
Well,
yeah, but I'm not sure if I mentioned this. TheQuartering said that he makes more money than Keemstar in response to Keemstar calling him boring.
Oh, that's probably true. I don't know. I haven't looked how much. Does Keemstar do a video a day or how much?
No, he does a video a week.
Oh, then almost for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So who does Keemstar have? Like G Fuel? Does he still have that, or did he lose that?
He lost that.
Keemstar lost G Fuel.
But Ethan lost pretty much everything else.
Although I've been talking to Keem's manager, and they said that they have 2 potential new companies to replace G Fuel as his energy drink of choice. So we have to stay tuned about that. I know the thing currently with Keem is that he's trying to buy every single video game ever made, and I think that's taking up a lot of his time.
Trying to buy every single video game ever made. What does that mean?
He's literally buying every single video game ever created, like a copy of every game. So he already has a complete GameCube collection, Wii collection. I think he's working on now Wii U, TurboGrafx. He has
like every mainstream video game or like obscure.
There's got to be like weird obscure ones that like were only released in like Indonesia or some crazy shit. I would imagine, right?
Yeah, he posted a photo on Twitter earlier today of his gaming room. I'm gonna share that here in the chat.
I mean, props to him if he can achieve that goal, but I don't think you can buy every single video game conceivably ever made.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
You could get maybe you could get close. He's going system by system. He just posted a picture of it on his.
Yeah, here I'm sending the picture to chat right now.
Let me go on Keemstar Twitter.
Here, I'm posting it to our Discord right now.
I was talking to him about video games, and he was just obsessed with it.
Well, I mean,
they were like going to Philadelphia to pick up like a complete Virtual Boy collection when I was talking to him the one time.
Yeah, I mean, he started off as a Call of Duty streamer.
Okay, I pulled up a picture.
Some of his best moments. I'm uploading it to our Discord, but it's just my internet's not super great.
Just showing it to my audience.
All good.
Let me turn off the webcam for a second so they could look at it. Yeah, so this is currently his wall. Nice. Every single GameCube game, every TurboGrafx, every Nintendo 64. Currently working on the Wii. Has the Wii U. He wants the Nintendo Entertainment System collection, including like what are the super rare ones? Like
he's gonna buy out the angry video game nerd.
He wants like the World Championship carts, which are like $20,000 a piece. He wants like each variation of it. He's going crazy.
Damn.
But he's gonna have a sweet collection. His goal apparently is to start a museum once he buys all the video games.
Huh.
So that's
yeah. Hopefully, maybe if he's able to do it, he could also work on like restoration or preservation, because a lot of
yeah,
that's what he's doing.
Oh, okay. Because a lot of games, I mean, the problem with video games is like when a console goes, like you don't have the right console to play the game, you just can't. Oh, I'm hearing echo.
Is it me? It might be me.
Maybe. Yeah, and I mean when you just like hear. This just kind of get my to my head.
Hold on, I turned my headphones down. Go for it.
Okay, yeah, no, you know, it's like when you don't have the console to play the game, you can't play the game, and it's effectively like lost. And not a lot of game companies are doing that much to preserve or to restore older games. Like you see, you know, like film doing it quite a lot. You know, you see all these stories from Criterion and stuff like that of like finding these movies that were once thought lost and going to all this work to restore them and to bring them out to a mass audience. Like, you know, that happened with the Apu trilogy, and that happened with A Brighter Summer Day and a bunch of other really great films. But you don't really see that happening with video games. You see a lot of video games just kind of becoming like just kind of lost to time. You know, it's almost like the silent era of movies where it's like 80% of or more of the silent movies are just completely lost. And I feel like maybe in 50 years, if there's nothing that's done to preserve and restore older games, that a lot of these games from the 90s or 80s will be lost.
To be fair, isn't there like a lot of like
emulated versions of all of them?
Yeah, and there's a ton of ROMs out there with a fuck ton of games as well.
Yeah, it's just a matter too of the companies, because I know that Nintendo hates emulators.
Yeah, Nintendo hates everything fun.
They use emulators though. Like I remember for the Nintendo Virtual Console, they were like shutting down ROM websites, but people discovered that they used a ROM of Super Mario Brothers for their paid version on the WiiWare shop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, didn't they do that? Was that also the case with their new like 3-pack of like Mario 64, Mario Sunshine?
Essentially, yeah, just emulated.
Mario 64 and I believe Sunshine were emulated on there. They didn't include Super Mario Galaxy 2 for absolutely no reason, and they're not going to make it after March. And they're not even you're not even going to be able to buy it on the Nintendo shop.
It's
totally after March.
I still bought it though. I consumed.
You're a consumer. Yeah, I mean it's totally like the whole like FOMO thing. It's trying to drive people to buy it because they're like, well, we're not going to have it in a couple months. I mean, but these are games that have been out for years. It's just you want to play it on your Switch. You don't want to get your Nintendo 64 out and play it.
Mm-hmm. Nintendo did like the bare minimum work to just slap together 3 old video games onto a cart, and it's the best-selling game in the country for the month it comes out.
They didn't even they didn't even make Mario 64 16:9. Like it's still 4:3 when you play it, right? Yeah. So that's like the bare minimum that they could have done is like adapted it to modern, widescreen televisions, and they didn't even do that.
But updated that janky camera control on it too.
All they had to do.
This was the first time I ever beat Super Mario 64, and it's pretty frustrating of a game.
Yeah, they just have to. I wanted a remake of 64 in the Odyssey engine. That would have been amazing.
The rumors set my standards like way too high for the 3D All Stars package.
Yeah.
I mean, fans went out of their way to like make a much better remake of Super Mario 64 than Nintendo was willing to do.
And then Nintendo shut it down.
Yeah. It's the story of Nintendo. I mean, they've shut down like Nintendo YouTubers as well.
There was that huge thing a long time ago where Nintendo went and DMCa'd like every fucking thing that had anything like Nintendo on it, like music, gameplay coverage. It was insane.
Yeah, and the reason why I stopped covering video games on my channel was because they like started content ID claiming YouTubers like for no reason. Like
apparently they're better about it now.
Yeah, after massive fucking backlash.
Yeah, I like, but the thing is, it shows enough distrust that for for art and for anyone like me or for us, it's not a chance you want to take when it's your livelihood that could be affected.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that the worst companies when it comes to copyright are all like not based in America.
Yeah, I was gonna say Asian. There's a lot of weird
Japan. Yeah.
Like I have to deal. I mean, I don't think it's just Asian countries in general. Like I've dealt with like the BBC with my Doctor Who videos. They're relentless talking about it too. So it's just anyone not in America. It's weird.
Yeah, BBC is pretty bad. But I'd say that in the States, because I do I do movie videos, you know, like I do like film analysis and filmmaking, like showing how like different movies were made.
Dude, that uploading for copyright check shit sounds like it would be a fucking nightmare. Holy shit.
Yeah. So actually, to go back, the person who really helped me out with, I haven't had any copyright issues on my channel in 2 years. And I had one small copyright issue with my video on the lighthouse, but it was universal, but it was like one of the MCN companies that like can't do shit. And they actually claimed a part of my video that Universal didn't even own. So nice. I just got back to them. I'm like, you don't even own this. And then they just released it. That's the only thing that I've had to do with. But it was Tim Pool's brother, Chris, who I was having issues with copyright initially when I started making my videos. But he just sort of like at VidCon last year, he sat me down. He sort of like laid out, here are the rules that you do. Don't have audio in that much. Keep everything less than 10 seconds long. It makes editing a pain in the ass because it's like I have to cut every couple seconds, you know? So like for a 10-minute video, I might have at least I want to say 60 different clips from a movie or something like that. Like I have to really cut it up, and it's tedious. But after doing that, I haven't had any issues with copyright. And yeah, but it's a pain in the ass system to kind of work around, because what you're trying to do is, if a human is going to see it, they will know that it's fair use. Like if they watch my videos are educational. You know, it's not like I'm just re-uploading the movie or anything like that. In fact, in most of my videos, I don't even explain the plot. Like I'm not really interested in that. So it's not like
the nostalgia critic.
Yeah, I'm not the nostalgia critic. I'm not just like saying the plot back to you so that you can like watch the video and then like pretend that you saw the movie. You know what I mean? Like I'm not doing that. But the problem isn't the people that are watching it. The problem are the bots that just scan everything that's going up, and it can just be a headache for you for a while you try to fight. That. And yeah, it's just a system that you just have to kind of learn to work within. And that's about it. But I know a lot of video game people, when they try to, or people that do commentary or video games, when they try to move over to the like film YouTube side of things, they get claimed all the time because they're not used to having to cut things up into the little 2-second clips, and just like they think I should be able to show everything here and it should be fine. And I see this on Twitter all the time. People, so like you can fight it. Like if your movie sucks on YouTube, he does not like play games to like avoid the content ID system. He just uploads it how he wants, and he just keeps on fighting it with the YouTube process and says, if you don't like it, sue me. And then they never do, and then they just go live. It's just a little bit of a hassle up front. Yeah,
so, that's always a possibility.
It's just a headache I don't really want to live with. But I've been moving more towards like filming stuff for my channel anyways, and doing more like Vsauce style, like making it more along the lines of like Vsauce in a sense, where I'm kind of parroting the movies while I'm talking about them. And that's a lot more creatively fulfilling anyways than just like watching a movie that somebody else has made and cutting up little clips from it to keep your ADHD audience engaged. But with Nintendo, I know with Pokemon, didn't they, was it with Pokemon or was it with something else that they claimed all the music? It was the Mario music because they were going to release the OST or something like that.
I didn't hear about that.
That was a couple years ago, I think.
Yeah, but they hit me once for a Mario Kart song I was playing in a video. I fought it. I said, sue me or put it back up, and they put it back up.
Has anybody ever fought a DMCA claim and gotten sued?
So the copy with so people that like actually do a
Sargon of
Akkad. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Sargon.
They didn't claim the video; they struck it down. So people have gone sued for videos that have gotten struck down and they fought it, but no one has ever gone sued, as far as I know, for fighting a copyright claim. If they don't hate your video enough that they're going to get kicked off the website, they just want to collect the money off it, they're not going to sue you because they're doing it for money, and going to court with you is going to lose them money.
So what happens if you try to play a game where you just like counterclaim everything that they do, and then somebody's like,
your video will be shut down for 2 weeks, and you'll have a strike on your account. And then after those 2 weeks, if they don't sue you, the video's back up, no problems. And
wait, you get a strike for counterclaiming?
For 2 weeks while it's in limbo, and then once they don't sue you, then the strike goes away.
Gotcha.
So YouTube's system is in place to scare people so they don't fight the claims.
Yeah, but the reality is that if it's a claim, the people just like the company just doesn't care, and a lot of times the companies can't even do anything because there are MCNs that are hired by these bigger companies, and they just basically like put interns out there. Heck, I got job offers in Austin to be. They were like, you know, I got some like headhunter, and he was like, "You like watching YouTube? There's a job you might like." And I was like, "Huh? What?" Like, and he's like, "It's just a job where you get to watch YouTube all day." I'm like, "Well, I'm not really that much. I don't actually watch that much YouTube." But it turned out it was a job they were hiring like people in their like early 20s to just watch YouTube all day and find any kind of content in videos that was owned by any of their clients and just automatically claiming them. So they just have like people in Austin and probably people all over the world, but just watching YouTube all day. And if they see something like these kids don't know anything about copyright law, like they know nothing. They're just like, oh yeah, that's my client's content. Claim. That's how it works. And it's some kid that makes the claim. It goes to the MCN. The MCN doesn't actually own any of that. You know, and they don't want, and unless it's like actually infringing, they don't want to bother the studios with possibly doing, you know, because it's like, how much money is this video going to make anyways? Like a couple $100. Like, is it worth going, you know, a lawsuit over a few $100? It's like it would cost more just for them to talk to their lawyers.
Sure.
Yeah, but I don't see the system changing anytime soon. But if you're willing to fight it, you can make it through. It just seems a bit of a daunting task sometimes to go through the headache.
It's just like you have a video out and you want everyone to see it because you just finished it and you're like proud of it in that moment, you know, like you haven't had the time to be like, oh, I could have done all this differently, but you just want people to see it right then and to go through the headache of having to fight this whole thing. And you're so tired after watching the video. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
It takes 2 weeks of fighting at most. But I mean, like, I don't see YouTube changing the system anytime soon. That's really what it comes down to.
Their whole system is designed so that they don't get involved directly.
Yeah.
Because they can. You know.
Speaking of YouTube, Destiny, do you plan on maybe getting more involved in the YouTube side of things now that Twitch seems to be fizzling out a bit because they kicked you off of the partnership program?
I mean, I'll be dual streaming to YouTube, but I don't know how much further than that. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Twitch is still like really good for viewer discovery and everything, so it's not like I'm going to just leave that platform completely, right? That would be really bad.
Yeah. That's a problem with YouTube is like for live streams, the discovery is non-existent. I get my subscribers to watch this, and even then, like, I don't really get that many. Like, no one that is not a subscriber of me is finding this live stream right now.
Yeah, unless you're covering like current events or something, and then you get like boosted based on what's going on, but yeah.
Yeah, no, discovery on YouTube is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not made for live streaming.
For sure.
They want live streaming to take off. Like, they spend so much time putting money into the YouTube gaming app.
Yeah, every few years they seem to take it seriously, and then they just kind of like scale back. And yeah.
That's kind of been the relationship with live streaming since 2007. Because I remember back then, it was 2007 for the presidential debates of that year. They like had some debate between Obama and Hillary Clinton, I think, for the primaries, and like they made a huge deal about that. And like they were acting like, man, this live streaming, we're gonna live stream all this stuff on the platform. And after that, it went nowhere. And like that's kind of been the relationship since then. They just every once in a while they do some live streaming event, and after that you don't hear about it for a couple more years.
Yep.
Praise the Sun says, just a yes or no, do you guys actually know who the streamer is in real life? He's referring to the streamer from Twitch Plays Pokemon, And I don't know who he is in real life. I know he's Australian. I talked to him over the messages. I talked to him on Discord. I sent messages back and forth with him for about a month. That was actually like not a headache, but it was almost 2 months of me following up every couple days. Hey, do you want to do an interview? Hey, do you want to do an interview? Hey, do you want to do an interview? And he never would give me a straight answer. And he'd be like, oh, I have to get a microphone. I have to do this. I have to do that. And then finally, at some point, I just said, listen, man, I need the interview by this day, this week, or you're not going to be included in it. And then literally the night of that final day, he's like, oh, I'll get it to you tomorrow. And I'm like, sorry, man, too late.
Damn.
So it's like, and then he was like apologizing. He's like, sorry, man, like, hope the video goes well. And I was like, no problem. Like, the thing is, like, if he doesn't want to do an interview for it, that's fine. But like the idea that you're going to jerk me around for like over a month and I'm not going to at some point move on with the project is kind of baffling to me, because at some point you just have to, you know, cut your losses and move on.
Yeah, and keeping him more secretive, I think, kind of helped some of the mystique.
Yeah,
Maybe,
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. When he messaged me that final time, I thought, like, I wasn't going to follow up again. I was like, hey, man, this is the date I need it by. And he wasn't responding. And then I think I was actually writing the script up, his portion of it, like finishing it up, ready to go, proofreading, when he messages me, hey, I could get it to you tomorrow. And at that point, I was just like, listen, man, I already figured out how to write this without your interview, and I need this done because I have a deadline for this upload.
And to put this into perspective, the day that I was editing, like, that you were able to get it to me, we were able to get the rest done and actually work on his portion of the video where we talk about the streamer. The day that I was editing that was yesterday. It was yesterday afternoon.
We were like, down to the wire on this thing.
We were down to the last minute, and it's like we did not have the time to interview him.
When you guys talk about having deadlines, is this just like when you've promised the video by for your Patrons or not Patreon, but like your subscribers, or what? What does this deadline mean?
So as I mentioned earlier, every single year on October 11th, I release a video about Pokemon, like in celebration. So this was my 9th year, so I had this date where I need a Pokemon video.
Gotcha.
And this was it.
Yeah. Okay.
So otherwise, man, I would have pushed this off and I would have given it a couple more days, because it wasn't ideal to release this in the middle of the night. Like to get it out on October 11th, it actually uploaded at like 2 o'clock in the morning, but I used my VPN to say I was in California, so it'd still officially be out on October 11th. It's so stupid because it's like a self-imposed deadline for myself. Like no one actually cares except for me, but it's just like a tradition that I do. So most of the time, though, unless there's a sponsored message on it, we take our time.
Yeah, because with Basher, we ended up taking a couple extra weeks. More stuff came out, and there were some technical problems that we faced, and we took our time, and that was very lax. But with this one, like yesterday, I think I edited more in that one day than I've ever edited in a single day, because that was something like 8 minutes of the final video, and possibly longer because I was also tweaking other sections. But it was a solid 8 minutes of the final video I just edited yesterday. And
you thought you might have had coronavirus while you were doing this.
Yeah, I thought I had coronavirus while I was doing it because I had just been exposed. It turned out my coworker, who I was working very close to last week, was positive for COVID. So I'm like in hyperdrive mode because I'm also doing another video for another YouTuber. And I'm like, gosh, but I have to like record audio for that after I have to record video for that. It's for M. And I was like, holy shit, I need to get this done like immediately, because what if I lose my voice and I'm not able to I had all these other things that I'm working on. Yeah, and it was super stressful, but I was able to send it to you at something like, I'm gonna say 5 p.m. yesterday. And I just woke up in the morning and immediately was just finishing up everything, and it was so like I was sending it to you, then you were taking it, you're making your little tweaks, and it was really a race.
I mean, yeah, if you look at my timeline, it looks like Like, it doesn't even look like I just combined the pieces together. I actually went through and was like splicing things in and adding like little tweaks on my side. It looked like a video in and of itself being edited. But yeah, that's just
because
it's not ideal. It's how we pulled this one off.
The ideal thing, right, is that I'm with you and I'm editing it and you're watching it as I'm editing it. We're both making the decisions together, but not quite possible right now. You know, I know that that's what Internet Historian does. He just has an office full of people, not full of tons of people, but you know, like they're all able to.
5 editors.
Yeah, he has like 5 editors. Yeah,
and even then, he still only releases a new video like every quarter.
Yeah, well, and it's because like his next video that's going to be on his second channel, he made that with my other friend, Ordinary Things. Have you checked out his YouTube?
It sounds familiar.
He's pretty good. He's been on a few of Internet Historian's videos, but he's making like a feature length. His next thing is going to be on a second channel, the incognito mode, and it's going to be a feature length of his Sundance rejects done in the Internet Historian style, but it's like a full-on like 90-minute thing. Like huge video. He's been working on that for a long time. I think that's really like made his main channel videos. Like he hasn't released as many, although The Virus and The Virus 2 came out pretty close to each other. But my guess, I haven't asked him about it, but my guess is he made it as one and split it up. Because they came out way too close to each other for it to be like an actual Internet Historian, like, you know, release window.
Yeah, and it's like diminishing returns with those videos. Like they're going to get so many views as is that, you know, you have nothing to gain by like making a full 40-minute long one of those videos when you could split it up and get 2 equally successful parts.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been streaming a lot too. He's been streaming on Twitch a lot, and his streams I like his streams. He posts highlights to a new channel that he made, and his streams are fun. So he's been doing that a lot too. But yeah, his new thing with it stars Ordinary Things. I think his new thing, but it looks he put a trailer for it a couple weeks ago, and then I haven't heard anything more about it. So I guess it's just taking up a lot of his time. And I don't think he has strict deadlines on any of his videos. Doesn't feel like it, at least. Yeah.
I hit 10 o'clock, guys. That was my cutoff for this.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Destiny, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for
nice talking to you, man.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And maybe we could do this again sometime. Maybe next time I'll do a documentary about you.
Sure thing. All right. Well,
yeah.
you guys have a good
one. Yeah, you too. Nice meeting you.
See you later.
I'll see you guys later, bye.
See you.
Catch you later.
Fucking competitive game that's ever been released on Twitch. Like, holy shit. Like, you're literally, your avatar is a fucking Teletubby, and you're getting this mad.